Chapter 2452. The deaths of Chong Lu, Murong Jin, and the others were quiet, and not many people knew about it. However, those who had reached the peak of the nihility realm and were not recruited by Chong Lu were shocked, and endless fear emerged in their hearts. They deeply understood that the person called Ling Xiao was too terrifying. He had probably reached the realm of the gods and was immortal. Many people began to come to Taichung Mountain, wanting to seek forgiveness from Ling Xiao. However, Ling Xiao did not see them. Nanan came out on behalf of Ling Xiao to appease them and let them continue to spread the path of gods, spreading the name of ancestor Ling Xiao throughout the world. Thus, the path of gods became more prosperous, and ancestor Ling Xiao's name became more and more famous. 30 years later. Ling Xiao's hair was completely white. He was already 90 years old. According to the lifespan of this world, his lifespan was already exhausted. If it were not for the strong life force and the support of the power of faith, he would not have been able to live until now. He held a walking stick in his hand and slowly walked to the top of Tongtian Peak. He was dressed in white, and his hair and beard were all white. He looked like a child with white hair, and he had the demeanor of a transcendent being. However, his body was unavoidably shrouded in a lethargic aura. His life was about to come to an end. "Brother Ling Xiao, wait for me." An old voice was heard. Behind Ling Xiao was an old woman with a head full of silver hair. She was dressed in green, and her face was full of wrinkles. She was a little breathless as she walked, but one could still see her old face. It was Nanan. After 30 years, Nanan was already 80 years old. Although Nanan's cultivation had already reached the peak of the nihility realm, she did not have the support of the power of faith like Ling Xiao, so she looked even older than Ling Xiao. However, her eyes were still very bright, like a clear spring. She looked at Ling Xiao with eyes full of longing. "Nanan, you're walking too slowly." "Ha ha ha." Ling Xiao was like a child. His face was full of a proud smile, and his snow-white beard was sticking up and down. He looked very cute. However, he still stopped and waited for Nanan to walk up while panting. Then, he held Nanan's hand and walked up to the top of Tongtian Peak. The sun was setting on the top of Tongtian Peak. The mountain range was vast, and the sea of clouds was faintly discernible. The golden sun shone above the clouds, shining golden light, and it was like a paradise. It was extremely beautiful. Ling Xiao and Nanan stood side by side, looking at the sea of clouds in front of them, and did not speak for a long time. "Big brother Ling Xiao, I'm leaving." "I thought you'd leave before me, but it seems like I'll be leaving first." Nanan said softly. "Yes." Ling Xiao's heart trembling. "And Nanan Ling Xiao." He understood what Nanan meant. Nanan's lifespan had reached its end. Moreover, although Nanan was talented, she still listened to Ling Xiao and did not choose to break through to the real God realm and break through the void. In Nanan's, she's. Nanan's. She's Nanan's SSSSS Nanan's, SS, the Nanan's she Nanan's lost to Nanan to her. Of Nanan. Nanan. I don't have any regrets in my life. Even if you don't accept me, I won't have any regrets. You belong to me in this life, and I'm the only one by your side. Nanan said with a smile. Her old face blushed like a young girl's, and it was very moving. Nanan, Ling Xiao laughed bitterly. He wanted to say something, but Nanan interrupted him. "Brother Ling Xiao, you don't have to say anything. I understand. I believe that you'll be with Sister Nanan, and I believe that you'll leave this prison world. Nanan will always wish you well." Nanan's voice suddenly choked up, and her old eyes were covered with a layer of mist. She turned around and looked at Ling Xiao in a daze, as if she wanted to engrave Ling Xiao in her heart. Ling Xiao was also a little dazed. It was as if he saw the little girl he saw when he first came to this world. She was pure, simple, and kind, shining into his life. Even though he knew that this was just a training world, Ling Xiao could not help but be moved. His heart, which had been calm for many years, could not help but tremble. Nanan, believe me. Not letting you break through the void is for your own good. I will remember you. Ling Xiao said seriously. I understand. Brother Ling Xiao, I really have to go. Nanan hopes that you can be safe and be happy forever. Nanan said with a smile. Her smile made the world lose its color. She sat on a large green rock at the top of Heaven's Link Peak, just like how she had come here countless times over the past few decades. She looked at the sea of clouds with Ling Xiao, and her eyes were filled with endless longing and reluctance. Then, the corners of her lips curled up slightly, and the light in her eyes gradually dimmed. It was as if some kind of power had disappeared. Ling Xiao saw that Nanan looked as if she had fallen asleep. Her lips curled into a smile, and her eyes were closed. She sat on the large green rock with her head slightly lowered, and there was no sign of life. Nanan left. Ling Xiao stared at the sea of clouds in front of him in a daze. He instantly felt his heart empty, and a drop of sparkling tear rolled down from the corner of his eye. Even though he had long thought of today's scene, he still could not control the turbulent emotions in his heart. Nanan, who had wholeheartedly treated him well, had left. Buzz! Nanan's body suddenly shattered, turning into a sparkling rain of light that enveloped Ling Xiao's entire body. The sparkling rain of light seemed to contain some kind of mysterious energy. It silently merged into Ling Xiao's body, causing his body to tremble. He immediately felt his life essence flourish, and his lifespan increase slightly. Nanan, why did you do this? Ling Xiao laughed bitterly, and his eyes were filled with all sorts of emotions. Nanan had used her life essence to increase Ling Xiao's life essence and lifespan. She would rather die a little earlier, so that her brother Ling Xiao could live for a few more years. Ling Xiao stood alone at the top of Heaven's Link Peak. He looked at the vast sea of clouds before him and suddenly felt the vastness of the world. The world seemed to have become illusory. In his eyes, the vicissitudes of the world changed, and all the creatures were born. At this moment, all of them gathered together. Ling Xiao felt as if something had broken out of the ground in his heart. His vast heart force seemed to have substance as it spread through his body. He had broken through the 6th level of the heart scripture of Taishu, the vision divine realm. Tai, I'm coming. Ling Xiao's eyes instantly revealed a blazing sharpness, and his body emitted a vast and unparalleled aura. Rumble. The void violently shook, and millions of bolts of lightning floated in the sky like divine dragons. A vast and mighty force enveloped the world, causing every living being to tremble in their hearts. They could not help but raise their heads, and their eyes were filled with uncertainty. Who was breaking through the void? They could not help but think of a possibility in their hearts, and their eyes suddenly looked in the direction of Taichang Mountain. At the top of Heaven's Link Peak, the void around Ling Xiao shattered like a mirror. Vast spatial energy filled the air, as if there was a strange and yet familiar spatial energy. Ling Xiao took a step forward, and in an instant, he rushed into the sky. His entire body blossomed with light, and he disappeared from this world. The ancestral master of the divine way, Ling Xiao, had broken through the void. Chapter 2455. Rumble. The surrounding space shattered as resplendent light flashed. Ling Xiao could faintly see many bizarre and variegated scenes. Boundless primordial mist drifted about as he soared up into the sky, looking at a mysterious world. Ling Xiao broke through the space with his own power and arrived in another world. This was a dark world. It was lonely, cold, and filled with an unimaginable aura of death. As far as the eye could see, there were countless corpses floating in the dark and boundless sea. It made one's scalp tingle. Ling Xiao smelled a thick stench of blood. That black sea was actually filled with blood. It was just that after so many years, the originally bright red blood had now turned into a pure black color, as if it could devour everything. There seemed to be an ancient throne on the peak of the White Bone Mountain, exuding an extremely mysterious aura. Ling Xiao, you're finally here. An extremely old voice rang out, and a white-haired figure stood up from the throne. It was Tai. Tai was dressed in white, and his hair and beard were all white. He looked like an immortal, and his eyes were deep and dignified. He seemed to be incompatible with everything around him. When his gaze fell on Ling Xiao, it was as if it had materialized, making Ling Xiao's heart tremble. Tai, I'm here. Ling Xiao's gaze was extremely calm as he stared at Tai. Their gazes met, and it was as if sparks were blossoming in the void, causing ripples to appear in the Black Sea. This was a battle of destiny. The winner would control destiny and perhaps be able to leave this world, while the loser would be lost forever. Although Ling Xiao's gaze was calm, he was extremely wary. Tai stood on the white bone throne. He looked like an immortal in the mortal world, but Ling Xiao could sense that his aura was unfathomable. It seemed to form a mysterious resonance with the Black Sea. It was like he was the ruler of this world. It could be said that Tai's strength was far beyond Ling Xiao's imagination. Ling Xiao, you really didn't disappoint me. You've gathered the world's qi and the power of faith of all living beings. If I'm not wrong, you should have already destroyed martial arts and created a new cultivation method, right? Tai's eyes were filled with interest as he spoke slowly. That's right. Ling Xiao nodded. There was nothing to hide about this. Tai should know this very well. The power of fortune and faith of all living beings converged in Ling Xiao's body, making him almost a true god. His strength was so strong that even a void-shattering realm expert would be slapped to death by him. Ling Xiao guessed that this might have been Tai's path in the past. It was also the secret that allowed him to crush countless geniuses. The power of fortune and the power of faith of all living beings in a world are indeed very powerful. But that's only external force. Moreover, I've already stripped away the power of fate and faith from my body thousands of years ago. Do you think you're a match for me with your current strength? His voice was extremely calm, as if he was chatting with an old friend. How do you know if you don't try? Ling Xiao also smiled faintly. He was resolute and would not be affected by Tai Yi's words. Ling Xiao was currently at his peak condition. If he was still no match for Tai, then he would have no complaints even if he died at Tai's hands in the end. Moreover, Ling Xiao still had some things he needed to verify through this battle. Truly a newborn calf not fearing a tiger. Not bad, not bad. How many years has it been since someone interested me appeared? You'll be the last. Make your move, or you won't have a chance. Tai said with a smile. Rumble. He slowly walked down from the white bone throne. As his footsteps moved, it was as if there were heavenly drums beating. A rumbling sound that shook the heavens and the earth erupted in this world. It was as if the sound was knocking on the depths of one's heart, emitting a wave of extremely vast power. Tai walked into the Black Sea, and in an instant, huge waves surged into the sky. Black blood, which had already cooled down, soared into the sky, exuding a thick aura of blood, corruption, and evil power. It was as if an ancient demon had been awakened from a deep slumber. Tai's hair and beard were all white, and his white robes fluttered in the wind. He had a faint smile on his lips, making him seem ethereal and otherworldly. However, the aura he exuded was filled with evil, strangeness, darkness, and corruption. This completely different aura gathered on his body. Not only did it not seem strange at all, it made him seem even more terrifying. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed sharply, and an extremely powerful battle intent surged out in an instant. If you want to fight, then let's fight. Ling Xiao's voice was like a light that pierced through the darkness, reverberating through the world. In an instant, resplendent golden light gushed out from his body, and a mighty golden fist bloomed in the air, hurtling toward Tai. This fist was fierce, domineering, and blazing, like a rising sun. In an instant, it bloomed with boundless divine light, illuminating the dark space. This fist condensed Ling Xiao's faith, comprehension, time, and even emotions. It contained an indomitable aura. This fist condensed the fate of the world, condensing the faith of all living beings. It was about to open up a bright universe. Come. Taiyi's eyes revealed a hint of surprise. Even though he had absolute confidence and did not take Ling Xiao seriously, this fist was still worthy of his praise. He understood many things from this fist. He understood Ling Xiao's hesitation, panic, and cowardice, but he also understood Ling Xiao's faith, courage, and strength, so he understood the power of this fist. Boom! Taiyi waved his sleeves. Oh! Suddenly, a huge black wave rose from the Black Sea. In an instant, it formed 12 black walls of water in front of him, blocking him. The golden fist arrived in an instant, slamming into the first black wall of water. When the black wall of water came into contact with the golden light, it rapidly melted like snow under the sun, vanishing without a trace. Crack! Soon after, the 12 walls of water shattered, and the fist arrived before Taiyi in an instant. Taiyi's expression did not change. He simply struck out with his palm, colliding with Ling Xiao's fist. In an instant, the golden light and black light collided and exploded. A terrifying wave of qi radiated in all directions. Chapter 2456. That's right. Not only did you condense the power of fate and faith, but you also fused them with your own faith and strength. You're the strongest person I've seen in countless years. However, it ends here. Taiyi smiled faintly. He looked at Ling Xiao with more seriousness, but there was also more madness and killing intent that Ling Xiao couldn't understand. Ha ha ha, is that so? This punch was just a warm-up for me. Taiyi, let's fight. Ling Xiao laughed loudly, the battle intent in his eyes reaching its peak at this moment. Roar! Roar! In the void, the roars of 10 ancient divine beasts were instantly released. Powerful sound waves swept out in all directions, causing the skeletons floating on the Black Sea to tremble violently. A golden divine dragon, a white tiger, a phoenix shrouded in flames, a qilin that controlled lightning, a kuanpeng that reversed yin and yang. All of them appeared around Ling Xiao at this moment. The 10 powerful divine beasts seemed to be solid, all of them extremely real. They emitted monstrous auras that enveloped Ling Xiao in the center, providing him with endless power. The method of divine refinement? You actually used the power of fate and faith to condense these 10 puppets? Taiyi's eyes flashed, slightly surprised. He naturally knew about the method of divine refinement and had cultivated it before. It was a hidden technique in this world, but he had been trapped in this space and couldn't leave. Naturally, he had no way of imparting the method of divine refinement in this world. He wasn't surprised that Ling Xiao cultivated the method of divine refinement, but he didn't expect that Ling Xiao didn't fuse the power of fate and faith into his body. Instead, he condensed the 10 divine beast puppets. The 10 divine beast puppets' auras were no weaker than Ling Xiao's. The 10 divine beasts were not like the puppets that Taiyi had described. After being strengthened by the power of fate and the faith of the people, they were almost like real divine beasts. Every single one of them had limitless potential and great battle prowess. For so many years, even though Ling Xiao didn't really cultivate, he had been comprehending the cultivation methods of the 10 great divine beasts all the time. His physical body was already extremely powerful, and all the divine treasures in his physical body had been opened. Rumble. Dazzling golden light bloomed around Ling Xiao, and the acupuncture points all over his body were like stars in the starry sky. In an instant, endless light gushed out, and the divine treasures in his body were opened. There seemed to be divine chains connecting them, causing Ling Xiao's aura to skyrocket in an instant. There are many things that you haven't thought of. Taiyi, although you were the Grand Emperor who controlled the celestial heavens of the Heaven Prison Realm billions of years ago, you have fallen too far behind after billions of years. You are merely a frog in a well. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. In an instant, he leaped over like a bolt of golden lightning. His speed was extremely fast. At the same time, the 10 divine beasts around him lunged towards Tai. This was the peak of Ling Xiao's strength. Really? Do you really think you can defeat me with just these 10 beasts? What a joke! Tai said indifferently. The murderous intent in his eyes burned even brighter. Rumble. He leaped up, and his white clothes instantly turned black. It was as if he had been dyed in the Black Sea. His ethereal aura also became dark and evil. The Black Sea surged, and a strange rhythm came from Tai's body. The skeletons in the sea suddenly trembled, and they all opened their eyes. There was no life in those eyes. They were filled with pure murderous intent and madness. Being stared at by so many pairs of eyes at the same time, even a strong practitioner who had broken through the void would be terrified. As Tai attacked, the skeletons in the sea seemed to have come alive. They turned into thousands of soldiers and charged towards Ling Xiao. Rumble. It was as if heaven and earth were falling apart. Ling Xiao and Tai instantly erupted into an extremely intense battle. The 10 divine beasts roared. Each of them began to swell violently, becoming tens of thousands of feet tall. Each of their attacks had the power to destroy heaven and earth. However, those skeletons were all peerless geniuses when they were alive. They all had broken through the void cultivation base and battle prowess. Perhaps one or two of them wouldn't be a match for the 10 divine beasts, but they formed thousands of soldiers and charged together. They instantly clashed with the 10 divine beasts. Roar! The golden dragon swung its tail, and dozens of skeletons were instantly pulverized. They fell back into the Black Sea. Roar! The white tiger was like a tiger in a flock of sheep. Each of its attacks could tear a skeleton apart. It was extremely ferocious. The fire phoenix spat out towering flames, and the qilin controlled endless lightning. The power of thunder and fire was originally a means to suppress the power of evil. It erupted with terrifying power. However, after the skeletons were killed and fell into the Black Sea, they instantly rushed out unscathed. They then charged towards the 10 divine beasts without fear of death. It was as if they were indestructible. The battle between the 10 divine beasts and the horde of corpses fell into a stalemate. The most intense battle was between Ling Xiao and Tai. Tai didn't expect Ling Xiao's physical body to have reached the peak. Although he didn't have innate spiritual qi and couldn't comprehend the heavenly laws, Ling Xiao used his supreme wisdom and willpower to open all the divine treasures in his body, releasing the primordial power contained within. Ling Xiao's body shone with golden light as if he had been cast in gold. He was like a sun god of war. Each of his attacks contained immense physical strength. Tai, on the other hand, was dressed in black. Even his hair and beard had turned pure black at this moment. Every move he made was able to unleash a power that could destroy the world. He was like a demonic god. Rumble. 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 In the beginning, it was a clash of fists and flesh. Later on, it was a battle of unparalleled great abilities. Ling Xiao and Tai seemed to have turned into 2 balls of light, one gold and one black, constantly clashing against each other. Tai, is this all you've got? What a disappointment. Ling Xiao sneered. Like a beam of golden light, he instantly teleported behind Tai and punched him in the back. Tai exploded in void space like a stretch of strange black fog. In that instant, he condensed his body in another place and then tapped out a finger toward Ling Xiao's forehead. Ling Xiao, your strength has indeed exceeded my expectations. But soon, you'll understand what despair is. Tai said indifferently. Crack. Chapter 2457. Swoosh. 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 The black mist in the air turned into countless figures of Tai in an instant. They charged at Ling Xiao from all directions. The black shadows contained an incomparably cold energy. They wanted to burrow into Ling Xiao's body, but Ling Xiao's body instantly spewed out golden flames. He exploded with an extremely strong yang energy, blocking all the black shadows outside. Boom! Tai struck out with his palm, and the black sea instantly exploded. Black chains of order shot out of the sea, wrapping around Ling Xiao. At the same time, the black sea seemed to move with Tai, providing him with an endless amount of power. Rumble! Ling Xiao's punches were like dragons. Every single one of them was extremely ferocious. He wanted to shatter the black divine chains of order, but he discovered that the black divine chains of order were unexpectedly tough. They actually soared into the sky and intertwined with each other, forming a huge cage around Ling Xiao that was several thousand meters wide. Ling Xiao, you're still too young. Now, let me show you what it means to have a heavenly might like a prison. Tai said indifferently. His eyes revealed an extremely strange expression. Crack! Black lightning seemed to bloom. Black flames actually surged out of the cage around Ling Xiao. At the same time, black lightning flashed. The cage began to shrink towards the center. Inside the cage, Ling Xiao felt as though chaotic light was exploding all around him. It was as though the heavens and earth were being split apart. The cage actually formed an incomparably mysterious small world. It was like hell, imprisoning him within it. A heavenly might like a prison. Is this the great ability or great path you've comprehended? Ling Xiao's eyes were deep as he thought to himself. Although the cage around Ling Xiao was formed from the Black Sea, it contained the vast power of a world. Even with Ling Xiao's current battle prowess, he was unable to resist the power of a world. Roar! The 10 divine beasts seemed to sense the danger Ling Xiao was in. They all broke through the obstruction of the corpse tide and charged towards the huge cage. They wanted to tear it apart. You're asking for death? Tai said indifferently. He did not seem to have any intention of stopping the 10 divine beasts. Rumble! The 10 divine beasts unleashed powerful energy fluctuations and approached the cage in an instant. They wanted to shatter the cage, but the black divine chains of order seemed to have a mind of their own. They pierced through the bodies of the 10 divine beasts and nailed them to the cage. The black light spread towards the 10 mythological beasts, and the golden light on their bodies instantly dimmed. Then, it slowly disappeared without a trace. Finally, they were completely covered by the black light and became part of the cage. Darkness will eventually devour light. Tai said faintly. After devouring the 10 divine beasts, the power of the Black Sea seemed to skyrocket. Tai's presence became even more unfathomable. Ling Xiao, I still have to thank you. Such delicious power of providence and power of faith. If it weren't for you, how could I have come here and extended my life? Tai said slowly. The aura of death around him seemed to have dissipated a little. His life force seemed to have become stronger. A sharp light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. It was as if he could see through the cage and see Tai outside. I knew it. Looks like the so-called Void Shatterer extending your life was just a pretense. How much life origin can a living being have? You really did use the power of providence and power of faith to extend your life. That's right. That's right. You're very smart, but unfortunately, you realized it too late. Ling Xiao, I have a feeling that once I devour you, I'll be able to leave this world for good. There's something about you that I like very much. Tai smiled faintly, then licked his lips wickedly. He stared at Ling Xiao in the cage. Ling Xiao's previous suspicions were now confirmed. Even if it was a Void Shatterer Supreme Prodigy, how long could he extend Tai's life for? Not to mention Void Shatterer experts, who were rarely seen in 1,000 years. Collecting the power of providence and power of faith was a little too easy for Ling Xiao. Therefore, his previous suspicions were finally confirmed at this moment. The so-called Heavenly Road was just a scam. Its purpose was to pass down the divine refinement method to make people think that they could destroy the martial path and create the divine path method. All of this was within Tai's calculations. Now, Ling Xiao was trapped in a cage with heavenly might. In Taiyi's eyes, the outcome was already set. Taiyi, you're right. If you devour me, you can indeed leave this world because I have the path of heaven's providence. I'm the chosen one of this era. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. He seemed to have given up on resisting. The cage around him kept shrinking, and soon, it was only a few hundred meters wide. Path of heaven's providence. Chosen one of the chosen ones. Ha ha ha. As expected, path of heaven's providence. If I devour your path of heaven's providence, not only will I be able to leave this world, but I'll also be able to prove my Tao and reach the supreme God realm. Ling Xiao, you really are my lucky star. Taiyi's entire body shook. His eyes instantly revealed an extremely excited expression as he laughed loudly. Chosen one of the chosen ones. Even though Taiyi had been in this place for billions of years, he still understood what it meant to be the chosen one. It meant that he had been acknowledged by the heavenly Tao and could control the rise and fall of an era. He had become an undying emperor. Although Taiyi was called the Grand Emperor, in the eyes of great emperors, he was just a slightly bigger ant, no different from a mortal. Now, he saw hope in Ling Xiao. However, Taiyi, do you really think you can kill me? Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Rumble. Suddenly, an ethereal and mysterious aura rippled from Ling Xiao's body. The aura was originally ethereal, but soon, it seemed to materialize in the void. An ancient and mysterious world appeared behind Ling Xiao. The sky in all directions trembled violently. Even the cage seemed to have solidified and stopped shrinking. Ling Xiao stood in front of the ancient world, his body surrounded by an ethereal aura. The light was bright and holy, and his clothes fluttered in the wind. His expression was calm, like a god that had descended into the mortal world. This is the heart realm. How is that possible? How can your heart realm appear here? Taiyi's entire body trembled, and his eyes revealed an expression as if he had seen a ghost. He shouted in disbelief. Chapter 2458. Taiyi had never felt such panic before. Heart Tao was an incomparably mysterious power. Although the strength of a person who cultivated Heart Tao wasn't strong in the early stages, there was a dividing line between the condensed heart realm and the prominent saint realm. A true heart saint expert possessed unimaginable power. There were very few experts whose bodies had become saints, but there weren't many heart saints either. Taiyi had only met a few people who cultivated Heart Way in the hundreds of millions of years he had been here. However, in this trial world, everyone was just a mortal. It was impossible to cultivate Heart Way or even reach the Heart Saint realm. That was why Taiyi was so afraid that Ling Xiao could manifest the Heart World. This meant that Ling Xiao had awakened Heart Way in this world and had the cultivation of a Heart Saint. Rumble. As Ling Xiao's heart realm manifested, his aura became ethereal, exuding a transcendent aura. Vast power burst forth from his body, and the prison world around him actually collapsed with a loud rumble. Puff! As the prison world collapsed, Taiyi suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. His body shook slightly, and his aura became extremely weak. More than half of his power was in the cage world. Now that the cage world had collapsed, he had suffered a huge backlash. Boom! The black sea around him began to surge violently. A cold, evil, and strange aura emanated from it as if it was about to boil. Countless ghostly wails and howls could be heard. How did you do it? This world can at most withstand the power of the God realm. How did you awaken the cultivation of a heart saint? Could it be heaven's fate? After the initial shock, Taiyi quickly regained his composure. After all, he was a hero of a generation. He had once been the master of the heavenly court. Although he knew that he was going to die at Ling Xiao's hands today, he still wanted to get an answer. You're right, but you're not completely correct. It is indeed heaven's fate that made it easier for me to awaken the cultivation of a heart saint. However, the most important thing is that you still haven't seen through the essence of this world. Ling Xiao sighed softly. He didn't continue to attack Tai. Tai was no longer a threat to him. The essence of this world? Tai was stunned. That's right. Don't tell me you don't doubt why we've become mortals without any cultivation after coming to this trial world. Ling Xiao asked Tai. Of course I did. However, this is the trial world left behind by the Sky Prison Great Emperor. With the cultivation of the Sky Prison Great Emperor, it is not difficult for him to silently deprive us of our cultivation and make us train here like mortals. Tai said slowly. You're wrong. Tai, even the Celestial Prison Great Emperor can't do it so quietly. Or perhaps you don't understand the mysteries of the Tao of the Heart. Although Tai's cultivation was extraordinary, Ling Xiao was certain that he had not cultivated the way of the heart. At the very least, he had not reached the level of a heart saint. Otherwise, with Tai's talent, he probably would have left the trial world long ago. What? Tao of the heart? Tai shuddered as if he suddenly understood something. You mean, this trial world is the mind realm of the heavenly prison emperor? Tai's voice was trembling. His face was filled with shock, disbelief, and regret. That's right. Precisely because this is the mind realm of the heavenly prison great emperor, he can silently deprive everyone of their cultivation, isolate the spiritual chi of heaven and earth and the law of heaven here, and make every trial taker leave a mark in this world, but they can't see each other. Ling Xiao sighed softly. This was also his guess. It was only when he finally condensed the mind realm that he discovered the secret. This trial world was the mind realm of the heavenly prison great emperor. For so many years, Ling Xiao had never seen the 10 great saint kings, Hu Feng, and the others. There was no trace of them either. It even made Ling Xiao wonder if they had not entered the trial world. However, when Ling Xiao flipped through the ancient books, he could see that the mighty figures of the heavenly prison great emperor had all left their mark in this world. In this way, Ling Xiao guessed that this world was not the only one. Perhaps there were many parallel worlds, and every trial taker was in a different parallel world. Only the heart realm was able to achieve this. The mind realm was ever-changing, and there was only one heart that could never be destroyed. Ha ha ha. The mind realm of the heavenly prison great emperor. It turned out that I was wrong all along. I was wrong all along. I always thought that as long as I accumulated enough energy, I could break open this world. But I didn't know that my direction was wrong from the beginning. Tai laughed loudly. His voice was incomparably sorrowful, causing the surrounding Black Sea to become even more violent, and Tai's body became somewhat illusory. Ling Xiao sighed softly. This blow was indeed incomparably huge. If it were an ordinary person, they would have gone crazy long ago. Tai had waited here for hundreds of millions of years. The loneliness, darkness, and loneliness were enough to torture any living creature to madness. And Tai was supported by hope and faith that allowed him to hold on until now. But now, that only hope had been shattered. Ling Xiao's eyes showed a trace of pity, but he still said softly, Tai, although I don't want to tell you, I think you should still know. Do you think you're still alive now? Ling Xiao's voice exploded like thunder. In an instant, Tai trembled all over, and his face began to turn pale. The Sky Prison Great Emperor's mind realm is incomparably cruel. Not only did he isolate the spiritual energy of heaven and earth and the heavenly Tao, but he also limited the lifespan of this world to 100 years at most. No one can even reach 100 years of lifespan, so the trial takers are given 100 years. If they can't leave in 100 years, they can only be completely buried here. Although you thought that your plan was flawless and set up such a shocking situation, it was all just you deceiving yourself. You're already dead. What's bitterly holding on now is just a remnant of your will. Ling Xiao said slowly. His every word seemed to chisel into the depths of Tai's heart, causing him to tremble all over and become more and more illusory. Ha ha ha. I'm already dead. I'm already dead. Sky Prison Great Emperor, you're so ruthless. Tai staggered, his voice incomparably sorrowful. His eyes were filled with bone-deep hatred, causing Ling Xiao to feel somewhat gloomy. Chapter 2459. Rumble. At that moment, the vast black sea around Tai Yi finally began to boil. The skeletons rushed out of the sea, filled with overflowing resentment and killing intent as they pounced on Tai Yi. These were the people who had been killed by Tai Yi in the past hundreds of millions of years. Their remaining life force had been restrained here by Tai Yi, preventing them from entering reincarnation and reincarnating. Over countless years, they had accumulated overflowing resentment and killing intent. Now, when Tai Yi was at his weakest, they finally began to bite back. You're right. Heavenly Prison Great Emperor is indeed ruthless. Ling Xiao laughed bitterly. He did not do anything. Tai Yi had suffered a backlash, but in reality, Tai Yi had already died here. The Grand Emperor of a generation, the Master of Tai Yi's celestial heavens, and the peerless strong practitioner of Heavenly Prison Realm, had died here without a sound. Ling Xiao was deeply moved. In the past hundreds of millions of years, other than Tai Yi, Mr. Divine Void, All-Seer, and the others had also died quietly. This trial was too cruel. If Ling Xiao hadn't comprehended the essence of this world at the last moment, he would probably have ended up like Tai Yi. It's time to leave. Ling Xiao whispered to himself. His heart realm emitted an eternal light, and the dark space around him began to collapse rapidly. A resplendent light blossomed, and everything in front of Ling Xiao's eyes seemed to have been completely destroyed. In the end, only 4 ancient words were left. Heaven's might like prison. These 4 words seemed to have come from the beginning of the primordial era. They emitted a primitive and ancient aura fluctuation, emitting an eternal light. Standing in front of these 4 words, Ling Xiao seemed to be able to see the birth and death of chaos and the evolution of all living things. Whoosh! Before Ling Xiao could take a closer look at the origin of the words, they instantly turned into a stream of light and merged into Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness between his eyebrows. Heavenly Prison Scripture. An ancient and bright scripture appeared in Ling Xiao's consciousness. It contained an ancient aura of the origin of heavenly Tao. It was as if heaven and earth had been split apart from chaos, emitting all kinds of mysterious energy fluctuations. Is this the inheritance of Heavenly Prison Great Emperor? Ling Xiao thought to himself. In an instant, his entire body was enveloped by a resplendent light. He felt warm and comfortable, and then he lost all consciousness. When Ling Xiao woke up again, he had already appeared outside the prison monument that was filled with heavenly might. Did you succeed? Ling Xiao sighed softly. His eyes revealed an incomparably weathered look. He could feel the vast and terrifying energy fluctuations in his body. He had already reached the limit of the Saint Realm and could enter the Great Saint Realm at any time. This was a power that he hadn't felt for a long time. However, his life in the training world was like a golden millet dream. It made Ling Xiao feel as if he had reincarnated. Although it had only been a few short decades, Ling Xiao felt as if he had experienced a lifetime. You actually passed the trial. The sudden appearance of Ling Xiao startled the sky hell beast lying on top of the stone tablet. It opened its eyes wide and stared at Ling Xiao in disbelief. It looked extremely adorable. That's right. From today onwards, I am the master of the heavenly prison world. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. He waved his hand at the sky hell beast. Suddenly, a mysterious force gushed out. The sky hell beast lying on top of the stone tablet unconsciously flew into his palm. Ling Xiao passed the trial and obtained the inheritance of Heavenly Prison Great Emperor, the Heavenly Prison Scripture. More importantly, Ling Xiao controlled the prison monument in front of him. The prison monument was the heart of the heavenly prison world. By controlling the prison monument, Ling Xiao had truly become the master of the heavenly prison world. Ling Xiao could feel that the prison monument was not only an extreme Tao Emperor weapon, but also the control core of the heavenly prison world. After obtaining the heavenly prison world, he had only just refined the prison monument. As for the specific mysteries, he still needed to explore it himself. Bastard, let me go. I am the mount of the heavenly prison great emperor. Even the other great emperors have to give way to me. How dare you blaspheme me? I am going to kill you. Ah! The sky hell beast was furious. It wanted to struggle out of Ling Xiao's claws, but Ling Xiao slapped its butt. The sky hell beast immediately screamed. Its eyes were filled with shame and anger as it stared at Ling Xiao fiercely. She felt as if she was being molested. Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat. He asked uneasily, "Are you a girl?" "Ah. I am going to kill you." The sky hell beast was enraged by Ling Xiao's question. The sky hell beast screamed, showing its sharp white teeth. It kicked its limbs, wanting to pounce on Ling Xiao and bite him. However, it could not escape from Ling Xiao's palm. All right. I won't ask any more. I have obtained the inheritance of the heavenly prison great emperor. I am the successor of the heavenly prison great emperor. That means I am half your master, right? If you are polite to me, I will let you go. How about that? Ling Xiao smiled bitterly. Bah! The sky hell beast will never be a slave. My master is only the heavenly prison great emperor. The sky hell beast snorted, his face full of disdain. However, she also knew that she wasn't Ling Xiao's opponent right now. A wise man knew better than to fight when the odds were against him, so she didn't resist. Once Ling Xiao let go, she flew up to the Heaven's Might prison monument and looked at Ling Xiao warily. Sky hell beast, what is your name? If you don't have a name, how about I call you Little White from now on? Ling Xiao asked with interest. Little White? You really don't know how to name. Get lost. I have a name. My name is Nan Nan. The sky hell beast looked at Ling Xiao with disdain. Nan Nan? Ling Xiao was shocked. He looked at the sky hell beast in disbelief. How could the sky hell beast be called Nan Nan? The cute little girl appeared in his mind. Nan Nan, who was so innocent, had been by his side since he opened his eyes. Nan Nan, who was a beauty in her twilight years, only had eyes for him. What was the relationship between Nan Nan and the sky hell beast in front of him? Ling Xiao had mixed feelings in his heart. He looked at the sky hell beast with a gentle look. What do you want? Your eyes look so perverted. Nan Nan stared at Ling Xiao vigilantly. Ahem. Nan Nan. I want to ask you a question. Why am I the only one who came out? Did the 10 great saint kings and Hu Feng all die in the trial world? Ling Xiao was embarrassed and quickly changed the topic. The 10 great saint kings and Hu Feng. Hee, if you don't save them, they will really die. Since you are controlling the sky hell steel, can't you feel it yourself? Nan Nan said gloatingly. Are they dying? Chapter 2460. I suggest that you save them. Although they did not pass the trial, their bodies have been branded with the Heaven's Might prison monument. They will never be able to betray you. Although the strength of the 10 great saint kings is so-so, they will be of great help to you now. Nan Nan said to Ling Xiao. Since that is the case, I will spare their lives first. Ling Xiao nodded faintly. He originally planned to save Hu Feng, Giant Axe, and Purple Thunder Prince. He would let the 10 great saint kings fend for themselves. However, Nanan's words made sense. Since their lives were already in Ling Xiao's control, he could spare their lives. Whoosh! Ling Xiao waved his sleeves. Suddenly, the Heaven's Might prison monument shone brightly. More than 10 figures flew out from the Heaven's Might prison monument. Their aura began to skyrocket rapidly. Soon, they landed in front of Ling Xiao. It was the 10 great Saint Kings, Hu Feng, and Giant Axe. They stood in place for a while before slowly opening their eyes. There was a torrent of information surging in their sea of consciousness, allowing them to understand everything. Ling Xiao had obtained the inheritance of the Sky Prison Great Emperor and became the true master of the Sky Prison Court. And they had all become Ling Xiao's subordinates. Not only them, but everyone in the Sky Prison Court had become Ling Xiao's subordinates. Their lives were in Ling Xiao's hands. Greetings, Master. The 10 great Saint Kings, Hu Feng, Giant Axe, and Purple Thunder Prince all knelt down respectfully towards Ling Xiao. The difference was that the 10 great Saint Kings' eyes were filled with complicated emotions. There was even a trace of worry and fear. On the other hand, Hu Feng and the other two's eyes were filled with surprise and excitement. They did not expect that the person who would obtain the inheritance of the Sky Prison Great Emperor would be Ling Xiao. Although the 10 great Saint Kings were unwilling, their lives were in Ling Xiao's hands at this moment. Moreover, if Ling Xiao did not save them, they would have died long ago. Therefore, they could only accept their fate. Get up. Ling Xiao glanced at them indifferently. His gaze was incredibly sharp and contained killing intent, causing the 10 great Saint Kings to sweat profusely. In the end, Ling Xiao withdrew his gaze, and only then did they hurriedly stand up as if they had been pardoned. The 10 great Saint Kings all understood that Ling Xiao still bore a grudge against them for pursuing and killing Ling Xiao and Jin Se previously. Thus, all of them were extremely well behaved, fearing that Ling Xiao would slaughter them. You guys go back first. After you return, reorganize the Heaven Prison Realm and reunite the Heaven Prison Realm as one. If you do well, your sins will be forgiven. Hu Feng, Huge Axe, and Purple Thunder will be my supervisors. They will patrol the world on my behalf and monitor all living beings. Ling Xiao said slowly as he looked at the 10 great Saint Kings and Hu Feng. Yes. The 10 great Saint Kings all bowed in response. They all knew in their hearts that the heavenly prison court's days of being independent were about to disappear. Next, they would form a unified force, like the ancient celestial court. For some reason, their hearts were filled with anticipation. Master, don't worry. When you come out of seclusion, the Heaven Prison Court will be a brand new place, and you will be the true ruler of the Heaven Prison Court. Hu Feng, Huge Axe, and Purple Thunder also said excitedly. They understood that the reason why Ling Xiao let the three of them be supervisors was because he did not trust the 10 great Saint Kings enough. With the position of supervisor, even the 10 great Saint Kings would have to be polite to them. The three of them all expressed their loyalty, saying that they would not hesitate to go through fire and water for Ling Xiao. You guys can go now. Ling Xiao waved his sleeve, and suddenly, a void passage appeared in the void. It directly swept up the 10 great Saint Kings and Hu Feng and sent them back to the Heaven Prison Court. Nan, why do I feel that the Heaven's Might Prison Steel is not complete? Could it be that it is incomplete? Ling Xiao looked at the Heaven's Might Prison Steel in front of him and asked with some doubts. You are right. The Heaven's Might Prison Steel is indeed a little incomplete. The Heaven's Might Prison Steel was originally one of the most powerful Extreme Dao Emperor weapons in the ancient era. Unfortunately, the battle in the ancient era was too intense, and the Heaven's Might Prison Steel was severely damaged, losing a part of the steel. Otherwise, if the Heaven's Might Prison Steel was in its complete state, the Heaven Prison Court would be like an iron bucket. Not to mention that it would be able to withstand the attacks of the great emperors, at least the emperors would not be able to break into the Heaven Prison Court. Nan sighed softly, and there was a tinge of pride in her eyes. Heaven's Might Prison Steel. Ling Xiao's heart suddenly moved. He had long felt a faint sense of familiarity from the Heaven's Might Prison Steel. That feeling was extremely similar to the Heaven's Might Prison Steel. Swoosh! 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 Ling Xiao directly opened up his heart world, and suddenly, 9 Heaven's Might Prison Steel flew out from it. They were enshrouded in chaotic qi, and they gave off a dazzling light. Just as the heavens might prison steel appeared, the originally calm heavens might prison steel suddenly gave off a dazzling light, giving off a desolate and ancient aura. The 9 heavens might prison steel were like flowing lights, and instantly, they flew towards the heavens might prison steel, and then merged with the heavens might prison steel. Ling Xiao, why do you have the fragments of the heavens might prison steel? It's a pity that there are only 9 of them, and they are incomplete. Nan Nan was a little surprised and a little regretful. The heavens might prison steel is the fragments of the heavens might prison steel. In the God realm, there were a total of 9981 pieces of the Heaven Tao Primal Chaos Tablet. Legend had it that it was a top-grade saint treasure created by a saint called Heaven Tao. Who would have thought that it was actually a fragment of the Heaven Tao Primal Chaos Tablet? When I return to the divine world, maybe I can try to find the remaining heavens might prison steel. Ling Xiao said slowly. 81 heavens might prison steel. If we can find all 81 Heaven Tao Primal Chaos Tablets, we will definitely be able to restore the heavens might prison tablet. By then, the strongest ancient emperor weapon will be able to regain its former glory. Nan Nan said excitedly. Ling Xiao was also looking forward to it. How strong would the heavens might prison steel that Nan Nan mentioned be? Maybe it could become his strongest trump card. Nan Nan, the heavens prison beast that we saw in the Cosmos River, what is your relationship with it? Is this really the world in its stomach? Ling Xiao looked at Nan Nan and asked. That heavens prison beast was me in the past. Nan Nan said slowly, with a tinge of emotion in her eyes. You in the past? These words made Ling Xiao a little confused. That's right. Although I am the Heaven's Prison Emperor's mount, I am only an Emperor Realm cultivator. Without breaking through to the Emperor Realm, it is impossible for me to be immortal. However, the Emperor imparted the Heaven's Prison scripture to me, and it contains the Heaven's Path reincarnation technique. Every 100 million years, I will reincarnate once. The Heaven's Prison beast that you saw was my original body from 100 million years ago. Now that I have reincarnated, I have to cultivate to the Emperor realm again before I can merge with my former self and step into a higher realm. Chapter 2461. If that's the case, the reincarnated you not only lost your previous cultivation but also your previous memories. Are you still the real you? Ling Xiao asked. As long as I merge with the body of my previous life, I will naturally be able to obtain all my memories and cultivation. Although this is a flaw, without the Heavenly Tao reincarnation technique, I would have died long ago. However, I cannot die. I must wait for the great emperor to return. Nanan's clear eyes revealed a trace of determination. You can do it. Ling Xiao nodded. He did not ask Nan Nan where the heavenly prison great emperor was. This was Nanan's decision and he respected her decision. Ling Xiao, hurry up and refine the heavenly might prison steel. When you have completely refined the heavenly might prison steel, you might be pleasantly surprised. Nan Nan said with a smile. All right. Ling Xiao said with a smile. Although he had obtained the heavenly prison scripture, he had only started to refine the heavenly might prison steel. He was not very clear about the profundity of this supreme emperor weapon. Now that the 10 great sage kings and the rest had left, Ling Xiao was ready to refine the heavenly might prison steel completely. Ling Xiao sat in front of the heavenly might prison steel and began to circulate the heavenly prison scripture. Rumble. In Ling Xiao's consciousness, the heavenly prison scripture was like a dazzling galaxy. Every word was like a star that was arranged in a row and contained endless profundity of the universe. The heavenly Tao is eternal, its might covers the universe, it is free, it imprisons all living beings, the mysterious scripture rang out in Ling Xiao's ears. It was like the divine sound of the great Tao, and it was also like an ancient great emperor was passing down the Tao to all living beings. It explained the various mysteries of the world, causing Ling Xiao to instantly sink into a state of enlightenment. A faint smile hung at the corner of his mouth. His eyes were lowered and his skin was as clear as jade. His entire body exuded a vast aura that was like endless light that lit up the entire world. The heavenly might prison steel in front of him also exuded the same aura as him. There was a mysterious resonance between the two. The heavenly prison scripture was a complete emperor's scripture. It contained the lifetime comprehension of the heavenly prison emperor. This was the first time Ling Xiao had fully comprehended the heavenly prison scripture. The emperor's true meaning it contained was an unimaginable fortune for him. Rumble. Ling Xiao shone with dazzling light. At that moment, 12 resplendent suns seemed to appear above his head. They contained chaos, fate, karma, reincarnation, spacetime, 12 different truths of the great Tao. That was Ling Xiao's Tao fruit. Ling Xiao had attained his Tao with the 12 heavenly arts, and the true meaning of the great Tao contained in the 12 heavenly arts had condensed into a fruit of Tao, becoming the source of Ling Xiao's shocking power. After a life and death crisis, Ling Xiao was reborn with the help of the infernal godly sun, which was the heart of the celestial prison great emperor. His cultivation had reached the limit of the sage realm, and he was only one step away from the great sage realm. Saints condensed their fruit of the way, while supreme saints used their fruit of the way as a foundation to further control the power of the heavenly way, forming the origin root of the way, and becoming one. Ling Xiao had condensed 12 Tao fruits, so he needed to form the sage Tao origin root from the 12 Tao fruits in order to break through to the supreme saint realm. This process was extremely difficult for him. After all, he had accumulated far too much. The emperor's true meaning contained in the heavenly prison scripture provided him with an opportunity to make a breakthrough. It was also an unimaginable opportunity. Boom! Dazzling light gushed out from his body, and the 12 Tao fruits bloomed with dazzling light. As Ling Xiao comprehended the heavenly prison scripture, the 12 Tao fruits had a tendency to merge with each other, causing the surrounding void to tremble violently. In the void, a mysterious scene of flowers raining from the sky and golden lotuses blooming from the ground appeared. The 12 Tao fruits attracted each other and gradually merged into one, as if forming a dazzling sun, blooming with boundless brilliance, and an extremely powerful aura. A breakthrough aura erupted from Ling Xiao's body. Crack! Above the sky, a thunderbolt suddenly fell, blooming with a vast and dazzling brilliance, containing the powerful thunder punishment power. The tribulation of the Supreme Saint had descended. Ling Xiao's accumulation was too great, so after he broke through, he immediately attracted the heavenly way's response, and an extremely powerful thunder punishment power directly descended. However, when those thunderbolts fell, and were about to fall on Ling Xiao, his body suddenly emitted an extremely ethereal aura, like a 9-colored auspicious cloud above his head. That was the heavenly way's providence. At this moment, Ling Xiao seemed to have become a part of the heavenly way, and the powerful thunder punishment power was instantly absorbed by the heavenly way's providence. Rumble. The thunderbolts that filled the sky surged violently, containing extremely pure heavenly way's energy. Originally, it was the thunder punishment that descended from the heavens, but at this moment, it formed an extremely vast energy, and all of it poured into Ling Xiao's body. Under the support of the heavenly way's energy, the 12 Tao fruits quickly condensed into one, forming an extremely dazzling ball of light, and gradually took the shape of the holy path's source root, connecting the heavens and the earth, and connecting the heavenly way and Ling Xiao. An extremely powerful energy fluctuation erupted from Ling Xiao's body. Have you broken through to the great saint realm? Not bad, but there's not much time left. You have to be faster. Nanan looked at Ling Xiao and muttered to herself, her eyes rippling with extraordinary splendor. When Ling Xiao's aura calmed down, he slowly opened his eyes. 2 dazzling golden lights shot out, containing mysterious and majestic fluctuations. Is this the great saint realm? Ling Xiao muttered to himself, his gaze calm and deep. After breaking through to the great saint realm, Ling Xiao could feel that he was one step closer to the peak of the holy path. Moreover, due to the emperor's true meaning contained in the heavenly prison scripture, his cultivation base of the great saint realm was stabilized as soon as he broke through. However, the most important thing was not that he had broken through to the Great Saint realm, but what Ling Xiao found in the Heaven's Might prison monument. The celestial map of myriad worlds is actually hidden within the prison stele. No wonder the Heavenly Way Primal Chaos tablet could break through the realm of the gods. It seems like this is the function of the Heaven's Might prison monument. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of excitement as he muttered to himself. At this moment, he had completely refined the Heaven's Might prison monument, and he found a myriad worlds map in the Heaven's Might prison monument. The Heaven's Might prison monument was like the core of the myriad worlds, recording the coordinates of the myriad worlds, and could send him to any place in the myriad worlds. Just this function alone allowed Ling Xiao to see the terror of the Heaven's Might prison monument. After passing through the Heaven's Might prison monument, I can finally return to the God of War world. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of incomparable excitement. Chapter 2462. Nan Nan, do you know about the Myriad Worlds map? I found a Myriad Worlds map in the Heaven's Might prison monument. Ling Xiao asked Nan Nan. Myriad Worlds map? That's the coordinates of the myriad worlds recorded in the Heaven's Might prison monument. Using the Heaven's Might prison monument, you can reach any world. Nan Nan nodded. I know. I came from the mortal world, a place called the War God's world. Now that 100 years have passed, I should return to the War God's world. There was a look of longing in Ling Xiao's eyes. He thought of his father, Ling Zhen, who was dignified and solemn, but loved like the mountains and seas. He thought of his mother, Long Han Yen, whose warmth and affection were the fetters of his life. He also thought of his 7 disciples, Moon Goddess, Phoenix Maiden, Long Out Yen, Nangong Xian, Nangong Qing. The faces of countless old friends flashed before his eyes, and the strong sense of longing grew stronger. It was time to go back. He had stayed in the trial world for decades, plus the decades in the divine world. Now that 100 years had passed, he had unknowingly left the War God's world for more than 100 years. He still remembered what the Emperor of Kuan-Wu Mountain said. The gate to the divine world would not open within 100 years. Now that 100 years had passed, his enemies in the divine world would probably send people to the War God's world again. His old friends from the Changsun sect were still in the War God's world. Thinking of this, Ling Xiao felt a sense of urgency. Mortal world? Although the great calamity of the era has not officially begun, as long as the Heaven's Might prison monument has the coordinates of the War God's world, you can naturally return. Nan Nan nodded. The Heaven's Might prison monument naturally has the coordinates of the War God's world. Nan Nan, do you want to come with me? Ling Xiao smiled and looked at Nan Nan. Of course I want to go with you. You are the successor of the Sky Prison Great Emperor. I can't let you embarrass the Sky Prison Great Emperor. I want to watch over you and wait for the Great Emperor to return. Nan Nan said proudly with her little head held high. Whoosh! Nan Nan immediately jumped onto Ling Xiao's shoulder. She looked like a white puppy, very cute. No one could imagine that this puppy was the sky hell beast that once terrified the entire Heaven Prison realm. Ling Xiao returned to the Heaven Prison domain first. In just a few months, the Heaven Prison court had begun to undergo tremendous changes. Under the call of the 10 great saint kings, the entire Heaven Prison realm established a vast heaven court, called the Lingxiao Heaven Court. And the lord of the Numinous Sky Heavenly Court was a heavenly emperor called Numinous Sky. Although the people of the Heaven Prison realm were unfamiliar with the name Ling Xiao, they saw that even the 10 great saint kings were willing to become Ling Xiao's subordinates and join the Ling Xiao Celestial Court. They had no room to resist. The majority of the people all joined the Numinous Firmament Imperial Court. Only a small portion of diehards were forcefully suppressed and killed by the 10 great holy kings. Everyone was guessing the origin of the heavenly emperor Ling Xiao. Could it be that he was really a hidden almighty of the Heaven Prison realm who had attained the Supreme God realm? Although the heavenly emperor Ling Shao had never appeared, under the intentional promotion of the 10 great saint kings, the name of the heavenly emperor Ling Shao quickly spread throughout the heaven prison realm and became the true ruler of the heaven prison realm. In the center of the heaven prison realm, Tongtian Mountain. Tongtian Mountain was 1,000,000 feet high. Legend said that it could directly reach the stars outside the realm. It was the highest mountain in the heaven prison realm. The 10 great saint kings used their supreme power to establish the Ling Shao celestial court at the peak of Tongtian Mountain. They moved one after another suspended mountains and built magnificent palaces. With Tongtian Mountain as the foundation, they built the true core of the Ling Shao celestial court. The 10 great saint kings knew that Ling Shao was very dissatisfied with them, so they did their best to build the Ling Shao celestial court into the most glorious place in the entire heaven prison realm. When Ling Shao appeared at Tongtian Mountain, he was shocked by the changes in the Ling Shao celestial court. The 10 great saint kings rushed over and bowed respectfully to Ling Shao. Then, they introduced the development of the heaven prison realm during this period. You all have done well. Ling Shao nodded with satisfaction. The actions of the 10 great saint kings had indeed made Ling Shao very satisfied. However, Ling Shao did not intend to interfere with the affairs of the Ling Shao celestial court. Instead, he continued to let the 10 great saint kings do whatever they wanted. He asked the 10 great saint kings to collect some heaven and earth treasures, elixirs, divine weapons, saint treasures, and divine techniques. The 10 great saint kings did not dare to delay. Soon, they sent over countless treasures and were then kept by Ling Shao in the heart realm. I will be leaving for a period of time. During this period of time, everything in the heaven prison realm will be handed over to you, Hu Feng, and the other two. I hope that the next time I return, the entire heaven prison realm will be united. I need an army that can help me kill my way back to the divine realm. Do you all understand? Ling Shao said faintly. Master, don't worry. We will definitely train an iron-blooded army for you to help you conquer the heavens and control the myriad of worlds. The 10 great saint kings said respectfully. At this moment, they no longer had a trace of dissatisfaction with Ling Shao. Instead, their eyes were filled with strong admiration and battle intent. They all knew Ling Xiao's true identity. He was the chosen one of this era. He possessed the heavenly fate and was now the successor of the heaven prison great emperor. Such a peerless figure was destined to dominate an era and become an invincible peerless great emperor. Although they were saint kings, they were just ants in front of a great emperor. Now that they saw the opportunity to follow a future great emperor, plus their lives were saved by Ling Shao, they naturally did not have any dissatisfaction or complaints. Instead, they looked forward to Ling Shao leading them out of the heaven prison realm and conquering the heavens. I'm leaving. Ling Shao nodded. Then, the heaven's might appeared in his palm like a prison steel, bursting with dazzling light. In an instant, it broke through the space barrier of the heaven prison world, and a void passage appeared in front of Ling Shao. Ling Shao took the heaven prison beast and stepped into the void passage and disappeared. Fellow Taoists, Master has left. The next time Master returns, it will be when he returns to the divine realm and reigns supreme. We must not embarrass Master. In the next period of time, gather the saints and great saints of the heaven prison realm and train a powerful saint army to help Master conquer the world. Saint King Fan Tian looked at the other 9 and said in a deep voice. All right. Then the 10 of us will each train a saint army. What do you think? Saint King Wang Ba chuckled and said eagerly. All right. No problem. Chapter 2463. The void passage in the prison steel was like an ancient starry sky road that led from the heaven prison world to the distant war god's world. Ling Shao followed the ancient starry sky road. The surrounding starry sky flickered and the stars shone brightly in the endless darkness, adding some light and warmth to the lonely starry sky. Ling Shao was like a bystander, watching the changes in the starry sky, the sun and the moon. It was as if there were mysterious worlds appearing and disappearing in front of him, evolving the mysteries of the heavenly Tao. This ancient starry sky road seemed to pass through endless worlds. Every world seemed to be within reach, but they were incomparably far away, separated by billions of miles. These worlds are gradually converging and merging. Ling Xiao's eyes shone brightly. He discovered that many worlds were actually beginning to fuse together. It was as if there was some kind of vast force pushing them to fuse together, becoming stronger and stronger. Is the great calamity really coming? Ling Xiao's heart trembled. He suddenly recalled the legend of the great calamity of this era. The great calamity of this era was also known as the immeasurable calamity. All the worlds in the universe would merge into one, forming a complete world. At that time, all the races would compete for supremacy and war would break out. That would be the true great calamity of this era. Now, Ling Xiao saw the signs of the worlds merging in the void passage. He knew that it wouldn't be long before the merging was complete. A sense of urgency arose in Ling Xiao's heart. He sped up and soon, a familiar world appeared in front of him. There was a blue sea, a yellow continent, and many familiar and unfamiliar scenes appeared in front of Ling Xiao. War God's world. Ling Xiao was overwhelmed with emotions. His eyes were filled with endless longing. Are they okay? Ling Xiao's heart trembled. He saw that the war god's world was dozens of times stronger than before. It seemed to have devoured dozens of powerful worlds and was vaguely devouring other worlds. Swoosh! Ling Xiao was like a stream of light, instantly rushing into the war god's world. Longevity Mountain. This was a continuous mountain range. The peaks were green and beautiful, ancient trees towering into the sky. Clouds and mist drifted in the air. It was otherworldly and mysterious, containing an incomparably mysterious aura. On the Longevity Mountain, many buildings were dilapidated, leaving behind dilapidated fences and dilapidated walls. There were spider webs all over it. Obviously, no one had lived here for many years. Ling Xiao stood on the Longevity Mountain. His eyes were deep and contained a trace of anger. The Longevity Mountain in front of him had already become the outer sect of the Longevity sect when he left. The true inner sect of the Longevity sect was in the Longevity world. But now, only ruins of the Longevity Mountain. Ling Xiao couldn't detect the existence of the world Longevity world. A huge wave of panic instantly surged in their hearts. What exactly happened to the Longevity sect? Ling Xiao could feel that the current war god's world was dozens of times stronger than before, but his divine sense could cover the entire world. Ling Xiao searched the entire war god's world, but he didn't find any traces of his old friends from the Longevity sect. There's actually a divine king and a few half-saints. A divine light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes, revealing a cold glint. He sensed that the current war god world actually had countless supreme Tao powerhouses. Among them, the strongest auras were actually all divine king powerhouses. There were also a few old monsters with obscure auras. Although they were bitterly cultivating in seclusion, their cultivation had already reached the half-sage realm. Ling Xiao's heart surged with anger. He felt that the disappearance of the Longevity sect must have something to do with those Supreme Realm World Saints. Ling Xiao immediately planned to capture those Supreme Realm World Saints and interrogate them. Suddenly, Ling Xiao sensed an extremely familiar figure, and a strange look appeared in his eyes. Swoosh! 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 One by one, figures flew over. Soon, they all landed on the Longevity Mountain. Ha ha ha! Looks like we're not too late. I heard that Crown Prince Jun Mo is going to fight with Long Out Yen on the peak of the Longevity Mountain. This is a grand event in the war god's world. Isn't that so? Long Out Yen is said to be the crown prince of the dragon clan. He has the bloodline of the divine dragon. In just a short 100 years, he has already broken through to the god realm. His talent is extraordinary. Crown Prince Jun Mo is even stronger. Crown Prince Jun Mo is the son of the divine king. He has the bloodline of the Divine King. Now, he's the strongest among the younger generation of the war god's world. Long Outyen dares to fight with Crown Prince Jun Mo. I think he's really courting death. Isn't that so? Ever since the Longevity sect went into seclusion 10 years ago, this place has been completely abandoned. Although there are a few Supreme Realm World Saints in the Longevity sect, how could they be a match for the Divine King? The world today is no longer the world that the Longevity sect dominated in the past. Have you forgotten about that person? The Longevity sect was founded by that person. Even Long Outyen is said to be that person's cousin. Hehe, you're talking about the former sky-devouring Supreme Ling Xiao, right? He has already ascended to the divine world 100 years ago. In just 100 years, I'm afraid he's only at the true God realm. How could he be compared to the Divine King? Not to mention that he can't descend from the divine world. Even if he can, he won't be able to affect the overall situation. Doesn't that mean that Long Outyen is doomed for this battle? Isn't that so? Don't forget that the Divine King has been searching for the people of the Longevity sect all these years. Although he didn't find anything, he still issued a bounty. Long Outyen still dares to come out. He's really courting death. The voices of the crowd's discussions entered Ling Xiao's ears. Most of the people who came to Changxing Mountain were mortals. The highest cultivation level among them was only at the Supremacy Realm. Ling Xiao didn't put them in his eyes. However, their words made Ling Xiao's heart turn cold. Just as I expected, someone has already started to hunt down the people of the Longevity sect. I'd like to see who has the guts to do so. Ling Xiao laughed coldly in his heart. However, he also heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed like the people of the Longevity sect were still more alert. They had already gone into seclusion 10 years ago. There was no danger for the time being. Ling Xiao also wanted to see what kind of person this so-called Crown Prince Jun Mo was. More and more people came to the Longevity Mountain. Many of them were here for the battle between Crown Prince Jun Mo and Long Outyen. Although most of them were mortals, Ling Xiao could still sense a few Supreme Realm experts. Those Supreme Realm experts hid their cultivation level and hid among the crowd. Ling Xiao could see the murderous intent in their hearts. They had already locked onto the entire Longevity Mountain. This was a trap to kill Long Outyen. Chapter 2464. Rumble. At that moment, there was a dazzling light in the sky as if lightning was descending. A golden war chariot came through the sky, emitting an ancient and mysterious aura. Around the golden war chariot, there were 8 experts in golden armor. Their eyes were like lightning, their faces were cold, and their auras were as vast as the sea. They were protecting the war chariot loyally. Everyone could vaguely see a young man on the war chariot. Although they could not see his face clearly, he had an extraordinary and mysterious aura. Crown Prince Jun Mo is here. Someone exclaimed. Immediately, everyone's eyes were filled with awe and respect. Crown Prince Jun Mo was a peerless genius who came to the God of War world with His Majesty the Divine King 10 years ago. Once he was born, the entire God of War world was shaken. He displayed extraordinary talent and powerful combat strength, and was said to be invincible among the younger generation. In the past 10 years, Crown Prince Jun Mo relied on his extraordinary talent to make a name for himself. He even gained a large group of followers. The 8 experts in golden armor around the war chariot were his 8 great followers. They were called the 8 Divine Sun Generals. Under the blessings bestowed by Crown Prince Jun Mo, they had all become Divine Spirit Realm experts. Crown Prince Jun Mo's Sun Chariot is said to be a powerful divine weapon. As for the 8 Sun God Generals, they were all bestowed by Crown Prince Jun Mo, allowing them to become gods on the righteous path. I wonder if we have the chance to become Crown Prince Jun Mo's followers. Someone said enviously. Don't even think about it. The 8 Divine Sun Generals are all peerless geniuses. How are we qualified to become Crown Prince Jun Mo's followers? But I heard that Crown Prince Jun Mo has said that he wants to recruit Long Outyen to become his 9th Divine Sun General. Recruit Long Outyen? I think it's possible. Long Outyen is really lucky. Isn't that so? The Changsun sect is like a rat on the street now. Everyone wants to beat them up. They are hiding in some corner and have not dared to show their faces for 10 years. If Long Outyen joins Crown Prince Jun Mo, he will be able to avoid death. It seems like Long Outyen will definitely lose today's battle. However, Long Outyen hasn't appeared yet. Could it be that he doesn't care about Jun Mo at all? Everyone was discussing in low voices. Long Outyen is finally here. Suddenly, someone exclaimed in surprise. Whoosh! A resplendent beam of golden light shot forward like a waterfall. It was so fast that it appeared before the summit of the Longevity Mountain in almost an instant, causing the surrounding space to shake violently. Roar! An ancient dragon's roar reverberated through the sky. The golden divine light dispersed, revealing a young figure. It was an incomparably handsome young man who looked to be around 18 or 19 years old. Every inch of his skin was glowing, as dazzling as the sun. His figure was tall and straight like a dragon, and there seemed to be a golden dragon coiling around his body, making him look extraordinarily valiant, like a young war god, with an invincible aura. This kid has already grown so big. The corner of Ling Zhao's mouth curled into a smile, and his eyes were filled with emotions. The familiar figure that he felt was naturally Long Outyen. However, he did not expect that when they met again after 100 years, Long Outyen would no longer look like a child. He had already become a valiant young man. However, Ling Zhao had already concealed his aura and face. Long Outyen could not recognize him at all. Jun Mo, I'm already here. Don't you dare to show yourself for a battle. Long Outyen stared at the golden chariot and said coldly. His voice was filled with a strong aura, and it was instantly heard by everyone. Long Outyen, I didn't expect you to really dare to come. An indifferent and ethereal voice was heard slowly. On the golden chariot, the two veils slowly dispersed, and a young figure walked out slowly. It was a flawless young man. He had an imposing appearance, and his entire body was emitting a resplendent divine light. He looked extraordinarily handsome, and his eyes were as bright as the stars. His entire body exuded an unimaginable extraordinary aura, as though he was a divine king who had descended from the 9 heavens. As soon as he appeared, the 8 divine sun generals around the golden chariot immediately knelt down respectfully. Greetings, Crown Prince. The eyes of the 8 divine sun generals were filled with fanatical admiration. When the surrounding people saw Crown Prince Jun Mo, although they did not kneel down, their eyes were filled with shock, and their bodies trembled slightly. Their eyes were filled with respect. Jun Mo. 10 years ago, you killed 32 people from the Changsun sect. 3 years ago, you chopped off my uncle Nangong's legs and crippled his cultivation. 1 year ago, you severely injured my brother. Today, we will settle all of these. I will make you pay for this with your blood. Long Outyen's eyes were sharp, and they were filled with cold killing intent as he stared at Crown Prince Jun Mo. What? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed with killing intent. He did not expect Jun Mo's hands to be stained with the blood of the Changsun sect's disciples. Ling Zhao naturally knew who the uncle Nangong that Long Outyen mentioned was. He was the sect leader of the Changsun sect, Nangong Xian. Not only did Jun Mo chop off his legs, but his cultivation was also crippled. How humiliating was that? Even with Ling Zhao's strong state of mind, he could not help but feel the urge to kill. Long Outyen, the Changsun sect has defied the heavens. You have entered the diabolism, and your death is not to be regretted. You, on the other hand, are quite talented. If you agree to become my 9th divine sun general, I will spare your life. How about it? Crown Prince Jun Mo smiled faintly. You? Jun Mo, cut the crap. If you want to fight, let's fight. Long Outyin sneered. His voice was filled with battle intent, and the murderous intent in his eyes was on the verge of bursting out. Roar! Long Outyin's vital energy and blood surged. It was as if a sun had appeared above his head, spewing out endless light. His powerful aura exploded, causing the surrounding people to tremble involuntarily. Long Outyin is too strong, someone said with a trembling voice, and his face turned pale. But he is destined to be no match for Crown Prince Jun Mo. Not to mention Crown Prince Jun Mo, even the Divine Sun General can kill him. There were still people who were confident in Crown Prince Jun Mo. However, everyone's hearts were filled with anticipation. They were looking forward to this epic battle. They wanted to see how grand the battle of the deities would be. Long Outyin, you are really stubborn. But I forgive you. After all, you are just a frog in a well. You don't know how vast the world is. Crown Prince Jun Mo sighed softly. As soon as he finished speaking, a Divine Sun General stood out and stared at Long Outyin. Long Outyin, you are not qualified to challenge Crown Prince Jun Mo Xie. You have to get through me first. Rumble. Chapter 2465. Ling Xiao, it seems that you are not famous enough. Even these ants look down on you. The Sky Hell Beast, who looked like a snow-white puppy, sneered while lying on Ling Xiao's shoulder. These people should be from the realm of the gods. I didn't expect that they would put in so much effort for me. As soon as the gate of the realm of the gods opened, they couldn't wait to send people down. Ling Xiao said with a faint smile, but his eyes were cold and deep. Prince Jun Mo's aura could be hidden from others, but it couldn't be hidden from Ling Xiao. It was a unique aura of the realm of the gods. Ling Xiao didn't know which of the 12 holy lands had sent it. Other than Prince Jun Mo, Ling Xiao could sense that the other Supreme Dao experts who were hiding their auras were also from the realm of the gods. Today, it was a trap to kill Long Outyin, and all of this was because of Ling Xiao. You? Jun Mo, it's meaningless for you to send your subordinate to die. He is no match for me. If you have the guts, come and fight with me. Long Outyin sneered. He didn't even look at the Sun God General. He just stared at Jun Mo with a sharp gaze. Long Outyin, you are courting death. The Sun God General felt that Long Outyin was ignoring him, as if he had been greatly insulted. Instantly, cold murderous intent burst out from his eyes. He shouted and the saber in his hand spurted out a red saber light, as if endless flames were condensing. Instantly, the saber slashed toward Long Outyin. Rumble. This slash shook the void of the god of war world violently and made a clanging sound. It was as if a flaming saber had split the sky into two halves. You are courting death. Long Outyin's eyes were sharp. His vigorous figure instantly rose to the sky and faced the saber of the Sun God General. He didn't dodge and directly punched out. Roar! An ancient dragon's roar resounded in the void. Long Outyin's fist print burst out in the void. Suddenly, a golden dragon soared in the sky and directly pounced on the Sun God General. The golden dragon was lifelike and exuded a majestic dragon aura. In an instant, it collided with the huge saber aura and blasted the saber aura into smithereens. The divine dragon swung its tail and swept towards the divine general of Sunday. It was like an endless storm that swept across the sky. The Sun God General's face changed, but before he could dodge, the huge dragon tail had already hit his chest, causing his body to shake violently. He was suddenly sent flying, and he couldn't help but cough up a mouthful of blood. The Sun God General is also a god spirit, yet he is no match for Long Outyin. Everyone couldn't help but tremble. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. Looks like Long Outyin really lives up to his name. He's the most dazzling prodigy of the war god world in the past 100 years, and he's also Ling Xiao's cousin. If it wasn't for the appearance of Crown Prince Jun Mo, he would be the undisputed #1 prodigy of the war god world. Someone lamented. Hee, what bullshit #1. Even if he could defeat one sun god general, there were 8 sun god generals here, not to mention that Crown Prince Jun Mo had yet to make a move. Long Outyen will definitely die today. Someone sneered. How dare you? Seeing that Long Outyen had seriously injured a sun god general with one blow, the other 7 sun god generals were shocked and angry. They couldn't help but roar and rush towards Long Outyen at the same time. Whoosh! Whoosh! 2 blazing sword lights swept across the void, illuminating the sky in an instant. They poured down on Long Outyen like a mighty waterfall. The sword lights were like rain, incomparably sharp. The 3 figures threw out a punch, a palm, and a finger respectively. The fist was ferocious and domineering, the palm was earth-shattering, as if it contained a mysterious world. The finger light contained an indestructible ripple as it headed straight for Long Outyen's forehead. The last 2 figures were like ghosts as they silently appeared behind Long Outyen. There was a black mist rising from their palms, containing a kind of power that could make people lose their minds. It surged towards Long Outyen's sea of consciousness. Although the 7 divine sun generals attacked in rage, their attacks were extremely ruthless. Every move they made contained a power fluctuation that could destroy the heavens and the earth. They wanted to kill Long Outyen. Ha ha ha. All of you trash come at me together. What do I, Long Outyen, fear? Long Outyen laughed out loud, looking bold and unruly. His clothes fluttered in the wind. Golden light shone in his palm, and a golden dragon spear instantly appeared. It was as if it was cast in gold. The spear light seemed to be the breath of a divine dragon, containing an indestructible divine light. Whoosh! He held the golden dragon spear in his hand and swept it across the air. The violent spear shook the surroundings and directly swept away the sword lights that filled the sky. Then, the dragon spear flew out of his hand and directly pierced towards the 2 sword-wielding sun god generals. Boom! He punched out with both fists, and the violent bloody light around him rose as if it had condensed into the shape of a dragon. It collided with the fist and the palm, and there was a fierce explosion in the void. The 2 sun god generals were directly sent flying by him. He stomped his foot in the air and collided with the finger light, breaking through the invincible finger light. Then, he stomped his foot down from the sky as if he was going to crush the heavens. The sun god general trembled and coughed up blood. The light of a firefly dares to compete with the light of the moon. Get lost! Long Outyen shouted. He took a step forward, and a vast dragon roar suddenly erupted from his body. It contained an incomparably powerful spiritual power and spread out in all directions like a storm. This was the 8 sounds of Divine Dragon. It could be said to be a weakened version of the roar of the ancestral dragon, but it was an extremely powerful primordial spirit attack technique that contained supreme dragon might. The 2 sun god generals who wanted to use spiritual attacks to silently invade Ling Zhao's sea of consciousness trembled all over as if they had been struck by lightning. Blood flowed out of their 7 orifices as they were directly sent flying. Even the spectators on Longevity Mountain were affected by the aftershocks. Their faces were filled with incomparable pain as they hugged their heads and howled miserably. Only powerhouses above the supremacy stage could barely resist the aftershocks of the 8 sounds of Divine Dragon. Rumble. Long Outyen's golden dragon spear was sharp and domineering. It was like a bolt of golden lightning that instantly pierced through the chests of the 2 sun god generals and then returned to Long Outyen's hand. Long Outyen grabbed the golden dragon spear, and his eyes flashed with a boundless fighting spirit. The golden dragon spear erupted with a loud dragon roar, and then like a golden storm, it swept out in all directions. Chapter 2466. At the peak of Longevity Mountain, Long Outyen held the golden dragon spear in his hand. His whole body was shining with golden light, and his blood energy condensed into a golden divine dragon. He looked extraordinary, like an invincible dragon god. No one dared to look at him directly. What? The 8 sun god generals weren't even his match. How can this Long Outyen be so strong? Everyone was stunned. They didn't expect the 8 divine sun generals to be defeated so quickly. It was as if they couldn't resist Long Outyen at all. The 8 divine sun generals were all divine spirit realm experts. They had followed Jun Mo all these years in the war god's world and had never been defeated. They even killed many demon gods of the demon race. No one dared to believe that Long Outyen could defeat the 8 divine sun generals so easily. Looks like this kid hasn't been slacking off all these years. Ling Zhao's lips curled into a smile. He could see Long Outyen's true strength at a glance. Defeating the 8 divine sun generals wasn't difficult for Long Outyen. Whoosh! 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 After Long Outyen swept the 8 divine sun generals away, he didn't stop at all. The golden dragon spear contained a sharpness that could pierce through everything. It instantly pierced towards the divine sun generals, wanting to kill them completely. With Long Outyen's dominance and the sharpness of the golden dragon spear, they couldn't escape at all. Your Highness, save us! The eyes of the 8 divine sun generals were filled with terror as they hurriedly shouted at Crown Prince Jun Mo, Long Outyen, how dare you! A cold voice sounded. Jun Mo stepped in the air. He looked as handsome as jade. His face was extremely perfect, and his body emitted a mysterious aura. He took a step forward and blocked in front of Long Outyen. Clang! He stretched out his jade-like hand and collided with the golden dragon spear. Instantly, the sound of metal clashing rang out. Sparks flew in all directions. A surge of divine power exploded between Jun Mo and Long Outyen. Both of them trembled slightly and retreated at the same time. Jun Mo is going to make a move. Everyone was shocked, and their eyes were filled with anticipation and reverence. Crown Prince Jun Mo stood in the sky, stepping on the void. He had an extraordinary aura, and his body was glowing. He looked like a divine king who had descended from the 9 heavens. His eyes were extremely cold as he stared at Long Outyen. There was a hint of coldness in his eyes. Jun Mo, you've finally made your move. I've already said that these trash aren't a match for me. You're just asking for humiliation by asking them to fight. Long Outyen looked at Crown Prince Jun Mo, his eyes filled with battle intent. Long Outyen, it seems like I've underestimated you. You're not at the divine spirit realm, you've already broken through to the true god realm. Jun Mo stared at Long Outyen. His eyes were deep and contained a trace of shock and killing intent. He was also in disbelief at Long Outyen's breakthrough. 10 years ago, Long Outyen had just become a god. However, in just a short 10 years, Long Outyen had broken through a major realm and became a true god powerhouse. If he was in the divine world, it wouldn't be too surprising. After all, the divine world contained an endless amount of origin energy. The speed of cultivation was hundreds or thousands of times faster than in the mortal world. However, in the God of War world, breaking through a major realm in 10 years was simply shocking. I'm not at the divine spirit realm, and you've been hiding your cultivation as well. Jun Mo, don't talk so much nonsense. Let's have a real fight. Long Outyen sneered. The battle intent in his eyes was getting stronger and stronger. Rumble. He decided not to hide his cultivation anymore. A vast and powerful aura exploded from his body. The law of divine Tao surged, and his aura was more than 10 times stronger than before. Long Outyen was indeed a true God realm powerhouse, just like what Crown Prince Jun Mo had said. It was because he had broken through to the true God realm that he had agreed to meet Crown Prince Jun Mo at the peak of the Longevity Mountain. Long Outyen, since you're in such a hurry to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Jun Mo said coldly. The killing intent in his eyes surged. A powerful aura burst out from his body, causing the surrounding sky to tremble violently. He was also at the true God realm. The two true God realm experts stood on the peak of the Longevity Mountain. Their terrifying auras collided with each other, causing the sea of clouds in the surroundings to explode, completely sweeping away everything in their path. When that aura erupted, it caused the spectators on the Longevity Mountain to shiver. Their faces turned incomparably pale. True God. How? How is this possible? Everyone was in an uproar. They were completely stunned. Long Outyen had actually concealed his cultivation level. He wasn't at the divine spirit realm, but a true God realm expert. No wonder he could suppress the 8 divine sun generals so easily with just a wave of his hand. Long Outyen is really a genius. Will there be a miracle in the battle between him and Crown Prince Junemo? Everyone's hearts began to beat faster. They originally thought that Long Outyen would die without a doubt. It was impossible for him to be a match for Crown Prince Junemo. But now, they were a little hesitant. It was the first time they felt uncertain about the outcome of the battle. Rumble. Long Outyen and Crown Prince Junemo were fighting. Their aura kept rising as if it had materialized. It created a huge storm, and it was getting more and more violent. The surrounding clouds were swept away, and there were explosions in the void. A shocking battle was about to break out at any time. Ling Xiao, I think that Junemo isn't simple. Although he's at the true God realm, he has accumulated a lot of power. Your cousin might not be a match for him. Nan Nan tilted her head and said. Is that so? But I still think that Long Outyen will win. Although Junemo is from the divine world, they don't know where Long Outyen's limit is. Ling Xiao said with a faint smile. He could see Long Outyen's cultivation. Although he had just broken through to the true God realm, his foundation was extremely solid. Most importantly, Ling Xiao saw that his ancestral dragon secret skill had already been cultivated to the greater success realm of the divine dragon body. With the greater success realm of the divine dragon body, he could even fight against a heavenly God realm powerhouse, let alone a true God realm powerhouse. Boom! When Long Outyen and Crown Prince Junmo's aura reached its peak, the two of them attacked at the same time. Long Outyen's aura surged, and his fist was like a dragon. It contained a fierce and domineering power. At the same time, it was so fast that it was like a golden lightning. It was so fast that people couldn't see it clearly. Chapter 2467. Boom! 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 Long Outyen and Junemo clashed rapidly in the void. The two of them had exchanged more than 100 blows in an instant. Every collision was like a thunderclap. Dazzling divine light bloomed in the void. Everyone's face was filled with awe and respect. This was the power of a god. It was as if just a trace of it could turn a supreme being into dust. Boom! Golden light flashed from Long Outyen's palm, and his golden dragon spear appeared. Golden light erupted from his entire body, and the spear projection was peerlessly sharp. In the next instant, it seemed to have come alive as it transformed into a golden divine dragon that pounced toward Junemo. A divine light flashed in Junmo's eyes. He chopped the divine dragon with his palm, and a bright light burst out. The sharp sword light in his hand burst out. An ancient sword exuding a powerful divine aura pierced through the divine dragon, and then stabbed towards Long Outyen's forehead. Clang! The golden dragon spear and the ancient sword collided. The ear-piercing sound made everyone's heart tremble. Their faces turned pale. The spear was the ancestor of all weapons. The sword was the king of all weapons. The clash between the spear and the sword represented the Tao of Long Outyen and Junemo. As the saying went, the clash of the great Tao was the most intense battle. The battle between Long Outyen and Junemo had the nature of a life and death battle from the very beginning. 10 dragons destroy the world. Kill! Long Outyen roared. The golden dragon spear split into 10 in the void. They were like 10 golden dragons. They intertwined with each other and burst out with black lightning. It contained an aura that could destroy everything. It rushed towards Junimo. The black thunderbolts seemed to have come from the void. They merged with the 10 golden dragons and unleashed a terrifying power. 10 dragons annihilating the world was a divine skill that Long Outyen had obtained from the bloodline inheritance of the dragon clan. It could instantly increase one's strength by 10 times. With 10 dragons, it could destroy everything in its path. Myriad Sword Technique. A sharp glint flashed in Junmo's eyes. He felt an extremely strong threat from the 10 divine dragons. Without thinking, he instantly soared into the sky and escaped the seal of the 10 dragons destroy the world. Then, the ancient sword in his hand fell from the sky, spewing out endless red clouds. In an instant, it was as if a sea of fire had appeared in the sky. The sword light split apart in the sea of fire, turning into billions of sword lights. Each of them was incomparably real. It was as if there was a mysterious sword matrix between them that descended from the sky. The clash between the 10 dragons destroy the world and the myriad sword technique showed that Long Outyen and Junmo had unleashed their strongest combat power. They had already regarded each other as their strongest opponent. Roar! Dragon roars erupted in the sky. 10 golden dragons soared into the sky, bringing with them a domineering, dignified aura and monstrous battle intent as they collided with the sword formation that filled the sky. In an instant, the might of the dragon was vast, and the sword light was destroyed. It was as if a scene of the end of the world had appeared in the void. Boom! After shattering the boundless sword light, a golden dragon was also slashed apart by the sword light, turning into a resplendent rain of light. Then, the second divine dragon destroy the world. The third divine dragon destroy the world. The fourth divine dragon destroy the world. Soon, the 10 divine dragons destroy the world. They were completely destroyed by Junmo's myriad sword technique. The myriad sword technique seemed to be endless. Millions of sword lights formed a huge sword formation. It fell from the sky and enveloped Long Outyen in the center. Endless sword chi rampaged through the air. It contained extremely pure laws of the sword, causing the surrounding space to tremble slightly as if it was about to shatter completely. Boom! Long Outyen did not seem to have any strength to resist. He was instantly swallowed by the sword formation. He disappeared in the millions of sword lights. His body was pierced by the sword chi. Then, he disappeared. It was as if he had been turned into dust. Is Long Outyen dead? Everyone was shocked. They asked doubtfully. Such a terrifying myriad sword art formation was not something that a human could resist. Even the 10 dragons destroy the world, a divine art of the dragon clan, was no match for the myriad sword art. Prince Junmo's innumerable sword skill is truly unrivaled. Long Outyen should be proud that he died under the myriad sword technique. Someone exclaimed. Not good. Crown Prince Junmo's body trembled, and his eyes revealed an incomparably solemn expression. He realized that Long Outyen, who was in the myriad sword secret formation, had completely disappeared. There was no trace of his soul. It was as if Long Outyen had suddenly disappeared. This made Junmo extremely vigilant. Boom! Behind Crown Prince Junmo, a sound of something breaking through the air could be heard. A huge fist wind was whistling through the air, containing a ferocious fist intent. It was about to explode behind Crown Prince Junmo's back. Without a second thought, the ancient sword in his hand soared into the air and slashed behind him. Bang! Long Outyen silently appeared behind Junmo. His eyes were sharp as he punched the ancient sword in Junmo's hand. Dazzling light burst out from the impact. Prince Junmo was shocked. He could feel an irresistible divine power surging towards him. His arm went numb and the ancient sword flew out of his hand. Junmo, the myriad sword technique is just so. Why don't you try my divine dragon body? Long Outyen said flatly. Although Prince Junmo's myriad sword technique was strong, Long Outyen used the teleportation secret skill that Ling Xiao had taught him to escape. He appeared behind Prince Junmo and launched a powerful attack. As expected, even Prince Junmo could not see through the teleportation secret skill. Rumble. Long Outyen's body was surrounded by a golden aura. His blood qi rose like a raging river. The meridians in his body seemed to have turned into a dormant divine dragon. They contained unimaginable power. A terrifying wave of energy spread out from his body. Crown Prince Junmo's expression changed. He felt a strong sense of threat from Long Outyen. He didn't even think about it and wanted to run away from Long Outyen. Whoosh! Long Ao Tian's aura surged, and an ancient dragon's roar resounded. He followed closely behind Crown Prince Junmo and threw a simple punch towards Crown Prince Junmo. Bang! Although Junmo tried his best to defend himself, he realized that Long Ao Tian's physical body had become 10 times stronger than before. Junmo could not defend himself at all. His arms were numb from the impact, and he was sent flying away. This was the power of the divine dragon body. It contained the supreme secret of the dragon tribe. It allowed Long Outyen to possess an extremely powerful physical body. No matter how powerful Junmo was, he was still unable to withstand Long Outyen's attack. Chapter 2468. Boom! Long Outyen's golden qi and blood rose up like a divine dragon roaring. A thunderous roar could be heard as a vast dragon's power burst out from his body, making his aura even more terrifying. Long Outyen did not stop after Junmo was sent flying by Long Outyen's punch. He was like a bolt of golden lightning, arriving in front of Junmo in an instant. Long Outyen, how dare you! Junmo was shocked and his scalp went numb. He did not expect Long Outyen to be so fast. He did not even have time to react. Why wouldn't I dare? Junmo, today is the day you die. Long Outyen's eyes were as sharp as lightning. He grabbed one of Junmo's arms without hesitation. Junmo felt as if his arms were about to be torn apart by Long Outyen's violent strength. Boom! Junmo's body was covered in red flames. A three-legged golden crow appeared behind him, emitting a monstrous killing intent. It was about to pounce on Long Outyen. Long Outyen sneered. He didn't dodge the attack. Instead, he threw a punch with his other hand. A golden fist print erupted in the void like a mountain, suppressing the three-legged golden crow under the mountain. It exploded into a rain of dazzling light. At the same time, Long Outyen kicked out in the air. His kick was as fast as lightning, as if it could break a mountain. Junmo's one arm was held by Long Outyen and he could not dodge the kick. He was kicked in the stomach. He curled up like a cooked lobster and spat out a mouthful of blood. Long Outyen's kick was extremely tricky. It dispersed the divine power that Junmo had just gathered. Junmo felt weak and powerless. He couldn't fight back at all and was lifted up by Long Outyen. Boom! Long Outyen fell from the sky like a meteor. He lifted Junmo up and smashed him on a mountain in the distance. The mountain collapsed and a terrifying shockwave swept out in all directions. The towering ancient trees in the surroundings were turned into dust. Pfff, Junmo spat out a mouthful of blood. He felt as if his bones were about to fall apart. His clothes were in a mess and his face was pale. He looked extremely miserable. He no longer had the aura of a deity. Boom! 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 Long Outyen couldn't care less. He lifted Junmo and soared into the sky. Then, he smashed down again. Mountains were smashed into powder by Long Outyen. The ground shook violently and cracked like a spider web. That terrifying aura made the spectators on the Longevity Mountain tremble in fear. Their faces were filled with disbelief. Whoosh! Everyone was in an uproar, as if they were completely stunned. They rubbed their eyes hard, as if they were in a dream. They had never imagined that the Crown Prince Jun Mo, who was like a young godly king in their hearts, would be beaten up like a dead dog. Heavens, am I seeing things? How could Jun Mo lose to Long Outyen? Everyone's voice was trembling. Looking at the scene in front of them, their eyelids were twitching and they were trembling with fear. That's too violent. I think I saw Long Outyen transform into a golden divine dragon. Could it be that Long Outyen was the dragon god who had descended to the mortal world? Otherwise, how could he have such terrifying combat strength? Today's battle will shock the entire war god's world. Long Outyen is the true number one of the younger generation. Hee, do you really think that Long Outyen can turn the world upside down today? I think he's just digging his own grave. Although Jun Mo is not his match, His Majesty the Deity King has sent out countless experts to search for Changsun men. Today, this kid jumped out of his own accord, he won't be able to leave alive. That's right. Long Outyen is still too young. If he could hide for a few more years, he wouldn't die so easily. The war god world today is not the same as 10 years ago when Changsun men ruled the world. But it's a pity. Long Outyen is a peerless genius. He could have ascended to the divine world, but he's going to fall today. Everyone's expression was different as they looked at the scene in front of them and discussed in low voices. Some looked at it coldly, some looked at it indifferently, and some felt pity because they witnessed a peerless battle with their own eyes. Jun Mo, the son of the deity king, was beaten down from the clouds today. Now, he was like a dead dog in Long Outyen's hands. No one knew if he was dead or alive. They thought of Changsun men. 10 years ago, Changsun men was the ruler of the war god world. There were countless experts in Changsun men, and they were prosperous to the extreme. Everyone was proud to be able to join Changsun men. But 10 years ago, because of the arrival of many experts from the deity world and devil world, Changsun men suffered a crushing defeat and disappeared without a trace in the war god world. And now, Long Outyen was at the peak of Changsun Mountain, fighting a peerless battle with Jun Mo. It was a battle that would be recorded in the history books. Everyone's emotions were complicated. After all, most of them were from the war god world. Seeing Long Outyen's peerless demeanor with their own eyes, they were filled with admiration and admiration. They were also dissatisfied and angry with the experts from the deity world for bullying them. But they were too weak. They were so weak that they could only watch from the side. They didn't even dare to speak loudly. Ling Xiao looked at the battle between Long Outyen and Jun Mo with a calm expression. There was a hint of admiration in his eyes. How could he not see through it? He was the one who taught Long Outyen the ancestral dragon secret technique and the teleportation secret technique. Long Outyen had already cultivated the ancestral dragon secret technique to the great success stage of the divine dragon body. Even the teleportation secret technique had reached the great success stage. Long Outyen's improvement was godly. It wasn't easy for him to cultivate to his current level in the past 100 years by relying on the resources of the war god plane. Ling Xiao, your eldest cousin brother is not simple. He has the ancestral dragon bloodline in his body. If this kid goes to the demon world, those old monsters of the dragon tribe will definitely treat him like a treasure. Nanan looked at Long Outyen and said with a shocked expression. Ancestral dragon bloodline? He must have obtained some kind of opportunity that caused his bloodline to revert to its ancestor. That's why he has the ancestral dragon bloodline. This little rascal is not ordinary. Ling Xiao said with a smile. 100 years ago, before he ascended to the deity world, Long Outyen only had the divine dragon bloodline in his body. He must have obtained some kind of opportunity that even Ling Xiao did not know about in the past 100 years to obtain the ancestral dragon bloodline. Chapter 2470. Boom! Crown Prince Jun Mo, who was badly mutilated by Long Outyen, suddenly emitted a vast and terrifying aura. In an instant, a dazzling light shone and a blurry figure appeared between Crown Prince Jun Mo's eyebrows. Although no one could see the figure's face clearly, there was a majestic and mysterious aura about it. When the figure appeared, Long Outyen's expression changed and he became extremely vigilant. Ah! Long Outyen! I will kill you! Crown Prince Junmo roared and his face was filled with insanity. Crown Prince Junmo's body was badly mutilated and his clothes were torn. He looked extremely miserable. He was extremely arrogant and he had never been humiliated like this before. All of this was caused by Long Outyen. He could not wait to tear Long Outyen into pieces to vent his anger. Swoosh! The figure in between Crown Prince Junmo's eyebrows pointed at Long Outyen. The dazzling light from the fingers suddenly expanded in the void and pressed down on Long Outyen like a mountain. The finger was like a divine king that could destroy the world. It contained an unparalleled power that caused everyone's expression to change. That is, the divine king's finger. It seems like Long Outyen is going to die this time. Someone exclaimed, his voice trembling violently. Although the figure in between Crown Prince Junmo's eyebrows looked blurry, everyone knew that it was the invincible Divine King. Crown Prince Junmo was the son of the Divine King after all. He had a trump card that could save his life. The Divine King's finger was probably Crown Prince Junmo's trump card. Everyone thought that Long Outyen was going to die this time. The Divine King's finger was not something that Long Outyen could withstand. Swoosh! Long Outyen's body shone with a dazzling golden light and a strange fluctuation was emitted. He felt the threat of death and he did not hesitate to retreat. However, the Divine King's finger was like a corpse that locked Long Outyen in place. Everyone's eyes were filled with pity. Rumble! The Divine King's finger erupted and reduced the mountain Long Outyen was on to dust. Dazzling light filled the sky and swept out in all directions like a storm, completely drowning Long Outyen. Long Outyen is dead. The same question appeared in everyone's mind as they stared into the distance with their eyes wide open. The godly light in the sky dispersed, and a young man in white appeared in front of Long Outyen. The godly king's finger stopped in front of the young man, unable to move an inch. The young man in white looked very ordinary, but his whole body exuded a natural and unrestrained temperament. Especially his eyes, which were deep and bright, making people unconsciously fall into them. On the shoulder of the young man in white, there was a little puppy with snow-white fur. Its eyes were bright and it looked very cute. Thank you for saving me, senior. Long Outyen bowed to the young man in white gratefully. At the same time, his eyes were filled with confusion. The young man in white looked unfamiliar, but he had an unfathomable aura. Long Outyen was sure that he had never seen this person before, but he did not know why he would save him. You're welcome. You're not bad. The young man in white was naturally Ling Xiao. He turned his head and smiled at Long Outyen. He had hidden his cultivation, aura, and appearance. Not to mention Long Outyen, even a sage would not be able to see through him. Naturally, Long Outyen could not recognize him. Rumble. The moment Ling Xiao turned his head, the Divine King's fingers suddenly shattered and spread towards the figure. Soon, the figure of the Divine King also shattered, turning into a dazzling rain of light that sprinkled on Ling Xiao and Long Outyen. Pfft! Crown Prince Junmo seemed to have suffered a great backlash. He could not help but spit out a mouthful of blood. His aura became weak, but his eyes were filled with shock. You! Who are you? Crown Prince Junmo said in shock and anger. The young man in white who had appeared out of nowhere had dispelled the Divine King's finger so easily. Even the primordial spirit that his father had left on him had shattered. The young man in white was too terrifying. Crown Prince Junmo felt a chill run down his spine. His primordial spirit trembled violently, as if it was going to shatter at any time. Ling Xiao did not even look at Crown Prince Junmo. He said to Long Outyen calmly, although your combat strength is not bad, you're too impulsive. If you die here, will you be able to face the people of the Changsun sect? Long Outyen heard this and his face turned red. He looked ashamed and said, "Senior, you're right. I was too impulsive this time. However, Jun Mo deserves to die. His hands are stained with the blood of countless disciples of the Changsun sect. Even Uncle Nangong's legs were broken by him, and his cultivation was destroyed." This junior only agreed to Jun Mo's challenge because of a moment of righteous indignation. I'm wrong. Although Long Outyen did not know Ling Xiao's identity, he knew that Ling Xiao was right. He had underestimated his opponent. If Ling Xiao had not intervened, he would have died under the Divine King's finger. That's right. Jun Mo's life is still yours. Don't bring shame to the name of the Changsun sect. Ling Xiao nodded and said, "Senior, don't worry. I'll definitely kill him." Long Outyen nodded solemnly. He looked at Crown Prince Jun Mo from afar, and his eyes were filled with killing intent. "You're courting death. I don't care who you are. How dare you meddle in my business? No one can save you today." Crown Prince Jun Mo's face was ferocious, and his voice was bone-chilling. Ling Xiao's disregard had shocked and angered him. Although he was fearful of Ling Xiao, when he thought of his invincible Divine King father, he was filled with confidence. Swoosh! 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 As soon as Jun Mo finished his sentence, a few strong silhouettes appeared in the sky, exuding a powerful aura. They were all experts of the Supreme Tao. The leader was a middle-aged man in a black robe. He looked sinister, and his eyes were like poisonous snakes. He exuded a feminine aura. He was a divine realm expert. The people behind him were all experts of the true God realm. "Uncle Lu Sheng, capture Long Outyen and we'll be able to find the Changsun sect. This person must be related to the Changsun sect. Kill him." Chapter 2471. Lu Sheng, the middle-aged man with a sinister face, nodded. He looked at Ling Xiao and said coldly, "Who are you?" "This is a matter between the Divine Dynasty and the Changsun sect. I advise you to mind your own business. Otherwise, you won't be able to withstand the wrath of His Majesty the Deity King." He was somewhat fearful of Ling Xiao. Just now, Ling Xiao had easily resolved the Divine King's finger. He believed that although he could resolve it, he could not do it as easily as Ling Xiao. Furthermore, he could not see through Ling Xiao's cultivation level. "If I'm from the Changsun sect, are you going to kill me too?" Ling Xiao said with a faint smile. "You're from the Changsun sect too?" "Impossible. Other than the 7 divine realms, there can't be any other divine realms in the Changsun sect. I think you insist on being a busybody." Lu Xing sneered. Although he couldn't see through Ling Xiao's cultivation, he knew that Ling Xiao's combat strength was at least in the divine realm. There was no one like him in the Changsun sect. "That's right. With me around, you can't kill Long Outyen. Even if His Majesty the Deity King comes, it'll be the same." Ling Xiao said flatly, his voice calm. However, his words sounded a little arrogant in the ears of the crowd, especially Crown Prince Jun Mo, Lu Sheng, and the others. Their eyes revealed a trace of anger. His Majesty the Deity King was the strongest in the war god's realm. Even the demon god king of the demon race was no match for him. Everyone thought that this young man was bluffing. "You're courting death. Kid, since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish." Lu Sheng's eyes were filled with killing intent. Ling Xiao's words had enraged him. Vast divine aura filled the air around him. He looked like a saint standing above the 9 heavens, exuding an insufferably arrogant aura. Peak heavenly god cultivation base. "You're still too weak. Long Outyen, go and kill him." Ling Xiao chuckled and shook his head. Then, his eyes fell on Long Outyen. "Me? Senior, I'm no match for him." Long Outyen had a strange expression on his face as he said helplessly. He had been waiting for that mysterious senior to make a move and kill all those bastards from the Celestial Dynasty. However, he did not expect that the senior would just flaunt and not make a move. Instead, he asked him to fight Lu Sheng. Although Long Outyen's combat strength was extraordinary, he knew that he was no match for Lu Sheng. Go. If I say you can kill him, then you can kill him. Ling Xiao smiled faintly, then gently slapped Long Outyen with his palm. Immediately, Long Outyen was sent flying towards Lu Sheng. Is this guy really here to help Long Outyen? Why do I feel like this guy is intentionally sending Long Outyen to his death? Everyone widened their eyes in disbelief. The white-robed young man seemed to have an extraordinary temperament. His face was calm and collected. He easily dispelled the God King's finger. Everyone thought that he would show off his might, but they did not expect him to push Long Outyen to his death. Everyone felt as if something called moral integrity had been shattered in their hearts. Ha ha ha. Kid, you know what's good for you. Lu Sheng, on the other hand, laughed out loud. His face was full of mockery as he reached out his hand to grab Long Outyen. He thought that Ling Xiao had thought it through and was afraid of His Majesty the God King. Although he was stubborn, he still sent Long Outyen out. Fuck you. Long Outyen's first reaction was that he had been tricked by Ling Xiao. Without thinking, he cursed out loud. Asking him to fight Lu Sheng. Wasn't that just sending him to his death? He really thought that Ling Xiao was an old friend of the Changsun sect. Now, it seemed that this guy had evil intentions and wanted to kill him. Rumble. Lu Sheng's huge palm covered the sky and covered the sun. It contained a terrifying divine might and was about to capture Long Outyen alive. Long Outyen had nowhere to run. Facing Lu Sheng's attack, he could only face it head-on. Senior, I'll fuck your ancestors. Long Outyen let out a furious roar. Then, he gathered all the strength in his body and punched at Lu Sheng. Ling Xiao, you're so mean. This cousin of yours hates you to death. Nanan looked at Ling Xiao and said. Jade is worthless if it's not cut. Ling Xiao smiled faintly, revealing a mouthful of white teeth. He watched the battle between Long Outyen and Lu Sheng in the distance without any intention of interfering. Crack. Long Outyen punched out. It was as if there was a golden flash of lightning. A mighty dragon aura burst out from his body. Long Outyen felt as if there was an endless amount of power in his body. His divine power seemed to have materialized and condensed into a golden dragon. It collided with Lu Sheng's attack. Divine light burst all over the place. Lu Sheng's huge palm print, which covered the sky and earth, was destroyed by Long Outyen's punch right there and then. Roar! However, the golden dragon expanded in the void. In an instant, it became tens of thousands of feet long. It emitted an ancient and terrifying aura as it charged at Lu Sheng. What? Lu Sheng's expression could not help but change. That palm strike of his contained the mysteries of the dragon-catching divine skill. Even a god would not be able to escape from his palm. How did Long Outyen break through his palm strike? However, the golden dragon was already charging at him. He did not even think about it. He leaped into the sky and a black dagger appeared in his hand. It contained a deep murderous intent as he slashed at the dragon's head. When did I become so strong? Could it be? Long Outyen was also stunned by his own punch. The power of the punch was 10 times or even 100 times greater than his combat strength. Logically speaking, he should not have been able to escape Lu Sheng's palm. Could it be that Ling Xiao had slapped him with his palm just now? Long Outyen recalled that when Ling Xiao hit him, there seemed to be a slight stream of heat flowing into his body. He did not have time to think about it. Lu Sheng was already in front of him. Boom! The golden dragon extended its dragon claw and hit Lu Sheng's body. The dagger in Lu Sheng's hand trembled violently, and sparks flew when it clashed with the dragon's claw. Then, the golden dragon roared. A vast divine sound exploded in the void. It was as if 8 divine sounds of the heavenly path had been released at the beginning of the world. It contained an ancient, majestic, primal, and mysterious aura. It rushed at Lu Xing's sea of consciousness, causing his primordial spirit to tremble. His entire being seemed to be fixed in the void. 8 Divine Dragons Notes. Chapter 2472. Swoosh. The golden divine dragon shrunk to about 100 feet long and wrapped itself around Lu Xing's body like a golden chain. Boom. A divine light flashed in Long Outyen's eyes. Taking advantage of Lu Xing being stunned by the 8 divine dragon's cords, he threw a punch in the air. A mighty fist mark exploded, making him feel refreshed all over. It was as if the power in his body was erupting like a volcano, landing on Lu Xing's chest. Lu Xing felt as if he had been struck by lightning. The divine shield around him was unable to withstand the punch at all, and it shattered with a loud bang. The unparalleled force of the punch exploded within his body, causing him to tremble all over. The ribs on his chest were all shattered, and he spat out blood continuously. Kill. Long Outyen's eyes were cold. He did not give Lu Xing any chance to catch his breath. He threw another punch in the air. The qi and blood around him rose, like fire and thunder intertwining, making his aura look even more terrifying. What? Everyone was stunned. The smiles on the faces of Crown Prince Jun Mo and many experts from the Divine Dynasty froze. They were in disbelief. Lu Xing was an expert at the peak of the heavenly god realm. His strength was unfathomable, and he had killed many heavenly gods. Logically speaking, it should have been easy for him to defeat Long Outyen. However, Long Outyen seemed to be on steroids. His strength had skyrocketed. He suppressed Lu Xing and even began to beat him up. Lu Xing could not resist at all. This is unbelievable. Long Outyen can't have such strong combat strength. Otherwise, he would have killed Crown Prince Jun Mo. What's going on? Everyone's eyes widened, and their faces were filled with shock. Could it be that Long Outyen has been hiding his strength? Impossible. If he has been hiding his strength, the Divine King's finger could not have almost killed him. I think it's because of that young man in white. That's right. I remember now. That young man in white hit Long Outyen, and Long Outyen suddenly had the combat strength to crush Lu Xing. How? How is this possible? He was hit by that young man in white, and he immediately had the combat strength to challenge someone of a higher level? Are you kidding me? I don't believe it. There must be something we don't know. Everyone was talking about how Long Outyen had become so strong. Many people began to suspect Ling Xiao. After all, it was Ling Xiao who had just slapped Outyen. Long Outyen Long seemed to have been injected with chicken blood and had the combat power to crush Lu Xing. Although this statement made everyone feel a little incredulous, there was no reason to refute it. Boom. 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 Long Outyen's golden blood rose, and the shadow of a giant golden dragon appeared above his head. It made him look murderous, and each of his attacks had the power to destroy the world. He threw dozens of punches, each one landing on Lu Xing's body. Lu Xing's body trembled and he coughed up blood. At first, Lu Xing's eyes were filled with anger, but the more he fought, the more terrified he became. Was he really going to be beaten to death by Long Outyen? A true God Realm expert was actually able to kill a complete heavenly God Realm expert. Furthermore, it was without the aid of any supreme treasure. This was simply unbelievable. Damn it! How could this be? All of you, go and save Uncle Lu. Crown Prince Jun Mo's face was extremely ugly. His eyes were filled with shock. A huge wave of panic surged in his heart. It was as if he had lost control of himself. This feeling made him panic, especially when he saw Ling Xiao's calm and indifferent eyes from afar. He could not help but tremble, and a chill ran down his spine. Yes. Although the true God Realm experts were extremely frightened, they could only obey Crown Prince Jun Mo's order. Instantly, their eyes were filled with murderous intent. They gritted their teeth and charged towards Long Outyen. Boom! The true God realm experts activated all of their cultivation, wielding sabers, spears, swords, and halberds. They displayed the most powerful unique skill they had ever learned. Divine light surged around them, and a powerful aura erupted from them as they charged towards Long Outyen. They did not hope to kill Long Outyen, but they hoped to stall Long Outyen and give Lu Xing a chance to catch his breath. They believed that as long as Lu Xing could catch his breath, there was a chance for him to turn the tables. Get lost! Long Outyen glanced at the crowd that was charging towards him. Instantly, his eyes were filled with murderous intent. He then threw a punch towards the crowd. The golden fist print was like a mountain, and it crashed down on the crowd. The mountain was sturdy and vast, and it contained unparalleled divine power. It was the accumulation of Long Outyen's chi and blood, and it weighed millions of pounds. Those people were caught off guard, and they were instantly suppressed by the mountain. The super skills that filled the sky dissipated into thin air. Before the true God realm experts could reach Long Outyen, they were suppressed by Long Outyen's punch. They coughed out blood, and their auras were weak. In an instant, they had lost half of their combat strength. Jun Mo, you're next. Long Outyen sneered. His cold eyes fell on Crown Prince Jun Mo, and Crown Prince Jun Mo could not help but shudder. Kill! Long Outyen roared. The battle intent around him rose. The power in his body seemed to be endless, and it gave him a terrifying combat strength. Lu Xing could not resist at all. A mighty fist print fell from the sky like a dazzling meteor. It gathered the strongest power in Long Outyen's body, and it even let out a vast dragon's roar. It was extremely terrifying. Lu Xing's expression changed drastically. He could not help but reveal a look of extreme fear in his eyes. He could sense that there was no way he would be able to block that punch. He would die under that punch. Lu Xing was in extreme fear. He could not help but roar, "Your Majesty, save me!" Crack! At this moment, the sky shattered. Endless divine light poured down like a storm in an endless sea. It emitted an aura that made everyone tremble in fear. Who dares to kill my men? A majestic and cold voice exploded in the void. In an instant, the surrounding sky began to rumble violently. Everyone trembled, and their eyes were filled with incomparable horror. It's His Majesty, the Divine King, has arrived. Someone exclaimed. His voice could not help but tremble. Chapter 2473. At the peak of the Longevity Mountain, the void trembled. Resplendent divine light bloomed, and a mysterious scene appeared. A figure appeared in the divine light that filled the sky. His entire body was shining, and he exuded an aura that caused the world to tremble. He was majestic and mysterious. The Divine King had arrived. On Longevity Mountain, everyone subconsciously knelt down. Their eyes were filled with reverence, and their faces were pale. The Divine King appeared as if he was holding up heaven and earth. He was the king of all gods. Not to mention the mortals, even the divine path experts around bowed to him. It was a middle-aged man with a dignified face. Divine light rose from his body, surrounded by divine chains of order. His eyes seemed to be able to penetrate the void. They were so deep that no one dared to look at him directly. Father, save Uncle Lu. Crown Prince Jun Mo's eyes immediately revealed a look of incomparable joy as he hurriedly shouted. Whoosh! The Divine King looked indifferent. He pointed a finger at Long Outyen. The dazzling light contained the power to penetrate everything. He wanted to kill Long Outyen directly. The finger seemed to be able to pierce through time and space. Long Outyen instantly felt a chill all over his body. He seemed to be fixed in the void, and the threat of death surged in his heart. Don't be afraid. Kill him. An extremely gentle voice rang in Long Outyen's ears. It poured into his body like a warm current, In an instant, the Divine King's aura on him melted like ice. Long Outyen saw the mysterious senior standing behind him. His expression was calm and indifferent as he looked at the Divine King in the void. Senior, you, Long Outyen's heart skipped a beat. He was extremely touched. That was the Divine King of the Divine Dynasty, who was known as an invincible existence. However, that senior still stood behind him without hesitation, shielding him from all life and death crises. Long Outyen's eyes were a little wet. He said seriously, Senior, don't worry. Lu Shen will die for sure. Boom. Long Outyen did not care about the threat behind him. With Ling Xiao around, he felt an infinite sense of security. His eyes were extremely sharp. His blood was boiling, his hair was dancing wildly, and his fist was glowing. It even illuminated Lu Sheng's terrified eyes. A vast dragon's roar exploded in the sky. Long Outyen threw a punch. It was like a dragon's head piercing through time and space. It exploded on Lu Sheng's body. Lu Sheng's face was filled with extreme pain and fear, but his screams came to an abrupt end. His entire body exploded under Long Outyen's punch. Not even his bones were left behind, and his soul was scattered. You all deserve to die. Monstrous killing intent instantly surged in the God King's eyes. The sharp finger light directly slammed into Ling Xiao's body and erupted with an even more terrifying power. Long Outyen had killed Lu Sheng right in front of him, which was a great humiliation to him. He had to use the blood of Ling Xiao and Long Outyen to wash away this humiliation. Crack! The Divine King's finger landed on Ling Xiao. However, it did not kill Ling Xiao and Long Outyen as everyone had expected. Instead, it stopped in front of Ling Xiao and could not move an inch further. It was exactly the same as the Divine King's finger. There seemed to be an invisible barrier in front of Ling Xiao, blocking the Divine King's finger. What? Light flashed through the God King's eyes. He was filled with disbelief and doubt. He had not taken Ling Xiao seriously at first, but now it seemed that the young man in white, who looked like a mortal, was unimaginably powerful. Boom! The Divine King's finger exploded into a dazzling rain of light. You're the Divine King, Jun Tiancheng. Bathed in the rain of light, Ling Xiao looked at the Divine King in front of him with interest. He stood with his hands behind his back. He had not made a move since the beginning. You know me. Who are you? Jun Tiancheng stared at Ling Xiao with a solemn look in his eyes. The current God King's finger was completely different from the God King's finger from before. It was Jun Tiancheng's full-powered attack, so it possessed unfathomable power. However, Ling Xiao had nullified it so easily. Ling Xiao's status in Jun Tiancheng's heart immediately rose to an extremely high level. In Jun Tiancheng's opinion, Ling Xiao was at least a divine king. I'm an old friend of the Changsun sect. I heard that you were hunting down the Changsun sect. Which holy land are you from? 9 Imperial Obelisk? Spacetime Heavenly Gate? Heavenly Curse Sect? Ling Xiao looked at Jun Tiancheng and asked calmly. You're from the divine world too. Since you're from the divine world, you should know who Ling Xiao offended in the divine world. The Changsun sect must be destroyed. You can't stop it. I advise you not to get involved in this mess. Jun Tiancheng stared at Ling Xiao and said coldly. Hiss. This young man in white is from the divine world too. Everyone's heart skipped a beat as they became more curious about Ling Xiao's identity. An old friend of the Changsun sect and someone from the divine world. Could it be that person? Ling Xiao. Everyone's eyes flashed as a name appeared in their minds. The legendary person who once fought in the divine world had become a taboo name now. No, if it's Ling Xiao, Long Outyen would recognize him. Someone denied this thought. Senior, do you know my cousin Ling Xiao? After hearing Ling Xiao's words, Long Outyen was incomparably excited. His eyes were filled with anticipation as he said to Ling Xiao. Of course, he's my good friend. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Senior, is my cousin doing well? Long Outyen quickly asked. There had been no news of Ling Xiao for over 100 years. Long Outyen and the people from the Changsun sect were eager to know more about Ling Xiao. They were especially worried when the Changsun sect was being hunted down by Jun Tiancheng and the others. Don't worry, he's doing well. Ling Xiao said. Ha ha ha. Are you really Ling Xiao's good friend? Ling Xiao detonated the wordless heavenly book and died without a burial ground. He will never be able to reincarnate. Everyone in the divine world knows about this. I don't think you're from the divine world at all. Senior, I'll warn you one last time. Hand over Long Outyen and I'll spare your life. Jun Tiancheng laughed loudly as he stared at Ling Xiao. His eyes were filled with cold killing intent. Chapter 2474. What? Cousin, he. Long Outyen's face turned pale instantly. His body trembled and his eyes were filled with disbelief. Although he had already guessed it in his heart, when he heard Jun Tiancheng say it out loud, his body trembled. The hope in his heart seemed to have been shattered. Impossible. My cousin can't be dead. You must be lying to me. Long Outyen's eyes were red as he stared at Jun Tiancheng. Useless brat. How can you believe what others say? I said, Ling Xiao isn't dead. Ling Xiao slapped Long Outyen's head and transmitted his voice to Long Outyen. His eyes were filled with helplessness. Long Outyen was stunned for a moment when he heard the familiar voice. Then, his eyes were filled with joy. He grabbed Ling Xiao's arm and trembled with excitement. He was speechless. Ling Xiao really wasn't dead. That was because Ling Xiao was standing right beside him. Long Outyen was so excited that he couldn't control himself. Suddenly, all his worries and anxiety were swept away. Although he had a lot of questions to ask Ling Xiao, he knew that now wasn't the time. Since Ling Xiao didn't want to reveal his identity, he didn't say anything. Jun Tiancheng, if I'm not wrong, you should be from the 9 Imperial Gates, right? Why don't I give you a chance? As long as you betray the 9 Imperial Gates and become my slave, I'll spare your life. How about that? Ling Xiao looked at Jun Tiancheng calmly and said. Through Jun Tiancheng's attack, Ling Xiao had already guessed that Jun Tiancheng's divine ability was very similar to the 9 Imperial Gates. He was probably sent by the 9 Imperial Gates. Ling Xiao didn't expect the 9 Imperial Gates to be so persistent. Spare my life? You're really arrogant. Since that's the case, you'll be buried with the Changsun sect. Murderous intent flashed across Jun Tiancheng's eyes. His body immediately emitted a monstrous murderous aura. Rumble. Jun Tiancheng stepped into the air, causing the space around him to tremble violently. Dazzling divine light spread in all directions. The divine aura in his body rose, locking on to Ling Xiao and Long Outyen. Long Outyen, is Jun Tiancheng's hand stained with the blood of the Changsun sect's disciples? Ling Xiao asked indifferently. Senior. Although Jun Tiancheng didn't kill him personally, he was the one who asked Jun Mo to cut off Uncle Nangong's legs and cripple his cultivation. Long Outyen's eyes were filled with killing intent as he stared at Jun Tiancheng. Then do you want to take his life yourself? Ling Xiao asked. I wish I could kill him 10,000 times, but my skills are not as good as his. I'm not his opponent. Long Outyen clenched his fists. His eyes were filled with anger and indignation. I'll give you a chance. Hold my sword and kill him. Do you have the confidence? Ling Xiao said indifferently. A light flashed in his palm and a black ancient sword appeared. It looked ancient and exuded a strange light. This is, Long Outyen's body trembled, and his eyes widened. His eyes were filled with excitement. Heaven-swallowing sword. Long Outyen recognized it almost immediately. This was Ling Xiao's sword, the devouring sky sword. It had once accompanied Ling Xiao on his expedition to the war god's world. It was an invincible divine weapon, and now it had appeared in the war god's world again. Senior, don't worry. I'll definitely kill him. Long Outyen said seriously. He then grabbed the devouring sky sword and stood in the air. Suddenly, the long sword hummed. A familiar and vast aura surged out from the devouring sky sword. Long Outyen couldn't help but roar at the sky. Roar! Long Outyen let out a dragon's roar. In an instant, the wind and clouds changed color and the ground shook. Blazing lightning fell from the sky and enveloped Long Outyen. Jun Tiancheng, die. Long Outyen held the devouring sky sword and pointed at Jun Tiancheng. Strong fighting spirit and confidence surged in his eyes. His admiration and trust for Ling Xiao had reached the point of blindness. Since Ling Xiao had asked him to kill Jun Tiancheng with the devouring sky sword, he believed that Jun Tiancheng would definitely die in his hands. Even though Jun Tiancheng was 2 realms higher than him, and he couldn't even withstand Jun Tiancheng's divine king aura a moment ago. You're courting death. Jun Tiancheng laughed out of anger. The killing intent in his eyes seemed to have materialized. He didn't expect Ling Xiao to not attack him at all. Instead, he took out a sword and asked Long Outyen to fight with it. This was a great humiliation to Jun Tiancheng. Isn't this white-clothed young man too arrogant? Even if his battle prowess is extraordinary, he wants Long Outyen to fight a divine king with a mere sword? That's a fool's dream. Everyone was also extremely shocked. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. This white-clothed young man is too pretentious. He just said that Lu Sheng wasn't worthy of him fighting. Could it be that even His Majesty the Divine King isn't worthy of him fighting? Hee, if Long Outyen dies at His Majesty the Divine King's hands, this white-clothed young man's face will be slapped. I think he's just sending Long Outyen to his death. Don't forget that Ling Xiao gave Long Outyen a slap, which allowed Long Outyen to kill Lu Sheng. Now that he's given Long Outyen a sword, it's not impossible for him to have the strength to fight a divine king. That sword looks a little familiar. I just can't remember where I've seen it before. Everyone was discussing animatedly, but they were also filled with anticipation. Today's battle was getting more and more exciting. Originally, it was just a battle between Crown Prince Jun Mo and Long Outyen. Who would have thought that it would draw out Ling Xiao and Jun Tiancheng? Everyone vaguely felt that perhaps this battle would determine the direction of the war god realm in the future. Whoosh! 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 The Longevity Mountain was originally deserted, but now, more and more people sensed the fluctuations of the battle here and came here. Countless experts from the war god world rushed over, wanting to see who dared to make an enemy of His Majesty the God King. Go! Ling Xiao patted Long Outyen's shoulder, then turned around and left with Nanan. It was as if he didn't care about Jun Tiancheng at all. Kill! The battle intent in Long Outyen's eyes soared to the extreme. He held the sky-devouring sword in his hand, exuding a vast aura. He flew through the air and stabbed at Jun Tiancheng. Rumble! Sword chi rose. Under the infusion of Long Outyen's divine power, it instantly expanded in the void and turned into a 10,000-foot sword energy. It contained a vast and dazzling divine might as it slashed down. A holy treasure. Jun Tiancheng's expression changed. The divine path aura exuded by the sky-devouring sword made his scalp tingle. He retreated without hesitation. At the same time, a purple battle saber appeared in his hand. He flew through the air to meet the attack. Chapter 2475. The sky-devouring sword was Ling Xiao's natal treasure. It contained the complete sky-devouring Great Way. After Ling Xiao became a saint, he had refined it with his heart and soul over the years. The sky-devouring sword had fused with countless natural treasures and devoured many powerful saint treasures. It had become a supreme saint treasure. The purple saber in Jun Tiancheng's hand was also a saint treasure. However, it was only a lower-grade saint treasure. It was given to him by his sect when he came to the war god's world. Otherwise, it wouldn't be so easy for him to possess a perfect saint treasure with his divine king cultivation. Kacha! The sky-devouring sword swept through the void and collided with the purple battle saber in an instant. Sparks flew in all directions as the saint's might spread out, causing the surrounding void to tremble violently and cracks to appear. Kill! Long Outyen's eyes were filled with battle intent. The sky-devouring sword vibrated in his hand, giving off a vast dragon's roar. Rays of sword light burst out, containing a power that could devour everything. His aura skyrocketed and soon surpassed the limit of the true god realm, reaching the same level as Jun Tiancheng. With the sky-devouring sword in his hand, Long Outyen had the confidence to look down on the world. He was invincible. Clang! 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 Long Outyen and Jun Tiancheng were both extremely fast. They fought in the sky. Every strike produced a deafening rumble. Endless divine light swept out in all directions. Jun Tiancheng originally thought that he could suppress Long Outyen with a flip of his hand. However, when he saw that the sky-devouring sword in Long Outyen's hand was a saint treasure, he immediately stopped underestimating his opponent. Now that Long Outyen had the sky-devouring sword in his hand, his battle prowess skyrocketed. He wasn't weaker than Jun Tiancheng at all, which shocked and angered Jun Tiancheng. He found it hard to imagine how a mere saint treasure could allow Long Outyen to possess the battle prowess of a divine king. Who was the young man in white who claimed to be Ling Zhao's friend? Jun Tiancheng's mind was in turmoil. The more he thought about it, the more fearful he became of Ling Zhao. For a moment, he was actually on par with Long Outyen. Rumble! Ling Zhao and Jun Tiancheng clashed once again. It was as if a sun had exploded. The dazzling rain of light formed a storm that swept in all directions, causing people's hearts to tremble. Ha ha ha, this is great. The so-called divine king is nothing more than this. Long Outyen laughed out loud. The battle intent in his eyes soared. The violent energy in his body surged like a huge wave, allowing him to use his divine power at will and unleash the might of the sky-devouring sword. When Ling Zhao was in the war god plane, he favored Long Outyen a lot, so he even taught him the sky-devouring secret skill. Although Long Outyen's experience in these years was mainly focused on cultivating the ancestral dragon's secret skill, he also condensed the sky-devouring cauldron with the sky-devouring secret skill, which could devour everything. Using the heaven-devouring secret technique to control the heaven-devouring sword, he could unleash even more powerful combat strength. Wang! Blood qi rose around Long Outyen's body. A three-legged cauldron with two handles appeared behind him. It looked simple and mysterious, containing a vast devouring law. The surrounding spiritual qi of heaven and earth frantically surged into Long Outyen's body. He held the sky-devouring sword in one hand and the sword light illuminated the world. He held the divine dragon fist seal in the other hand. The violent energy in his body erupted, making him seem like a golden divine dragon. Kacha! Endless sword qi fell from the sky, containing sacred might. Dazzling runes flickered. They were formed by the great Tao law, enveloping Jun Tiancheng. Open for me. Divine light flickered in Jun Tiancheng's eyes as he roared. The purple battle saber slashed down from the sky, containing whistling lightning. It was blazing and dazzling. It turned into a thunder saber astral and collided with the endless sword qi, causing the void to tremble violently. The runes formed by the sword qi seemed to be material, posing a great threat to Jun Tiancheng. He unleashed all of his combat strength, wanting to break the endless sword qi and rush out. Boom! Long Outyen's eyes were cold as he threw out a punch. Golden divine light rose and the fist seal turned into a golden mountain, smashing down on Jun Tiancheng. Jun Tiancheng soared into the sky and collided with Long Outyen's fist. Blazing lightning rose from the palm of his hand and directly blasted the mountain, turning it into fine powder. There was a loud explosion in the void. Long Outyen and Jun Tiancheng both retreated at the same time. Damn it! Crown Prince Jun Mo looked at the battle in the void and his face turned ugly. There was even a trace of uncontrollable fear in his eyes. His father, who was known as the invincible divine king in his heart, was only evenly matched with Long Outyen. All of this was caused by the white-robed young man. Who the hell is he? Crown Prince Jun Mo was terrified. Originally, Long Outyen's strength was on par with his. Even if Long Outyen was slightly stronger than him, it was not by much. However, the appearance of this person caused the biggest change in today's battle. The white-robed young man slapped Lu Sheng, and Long Outyen killed Lu Sheng, who was at the peak of the heavenly god realm. The white-robed young man slashed Long Outyen with his sword. Long Outyen seemed to have been injected with chicken blood. He exploded with the combat strength of a divine king and fought Jun Tiancheng to a standstill. What was the white-robed young man's cultivation level? Crown Prince Jun Mo knew that even Jun Tiancheng could not do such a thing. Could it be that the white-robed young man had already touched the Saint Realm? The current God of War's realm was dozens of times bigger than 10 years ago as it continued to devour the surrounding worlds. It was also gradually able to withstand the power of the Saint Realm. However, the price of sending a saint to the lower world was too high. Hence, there were no saints in the God of War's realm. Ling Xiao stood with his hands behind his back, standing at the peak of Longevity Mountain. His white robe fluttered in the wind, and his aura was ethereal and mysterious. A cute, snow-white puppy lay on his shoulder. It looked very lazy, looking around in boredom. It was like a mortal immortal, making people afraid to approach it. At this moment, everyone looked at Ling Xiao with reverence in their eyes. Ling Xiao did not make a move. Hence, no one knew how strong he was. However, Ling Xiao easily created a divine king expert. Looking at Long Outyen who was fighting Jun Tiancheng, everyone was even more afraid of Ling Xiao. In their hearts, Ling Xiao had already far surpassed Jun Tiancheng, becoming an invincible existence that they could only look up to like a mountain. Looks like the God of War's realm is going to change. The same thought appeared in everyone's mind. Chapter 2476. Don't think that you can defeat me just because you have a holy treasure. Your own cultivation is the foundation. Long Outyen, you don't understand how strong a divine king is. Jun Tiancheng's eyes were extremely cold. His body was filled with murderous intent and killing intent. Is that so? In my opinion, a divine king is just so. It's your honor to die under this sword. Long Outyen sneered. Buzz. The sky-devouring sword emitted a bright light that contained an aura that could devour everything. It pierced towards Jun Tiancheng's forehead at an extremely fast speed. It instantly broke through the void and arrived in front of Jun Tiancheng like a bolt of black lightning. The sky-devouring cauldron behind Long Outyen was ancient and mysterious. It could devour the essence of heaven and earth around it, making the power of the sky-devouring sword even more terrifying. Long Outyen, don't be arrogant. A mere saint artifact can't save your life. Jun Tiancheng's eyes flashed with murderous intent. In an instant, the purple saber in his hand rose into the air and slashed down. In an instant, he slashed down hundreds of times. Each slash was extremely sharp and domineering. Hundreds of saber auras gathered and collided with the sky-devouring sword. A terrifying fluctuation erupted. Purple Firmament Soul Destruction Technique, Die. Jun Tiancheng's murderous intent rose. Purple lightning seemed to rise in his eyes. In an instant, it pierced through the void. It contained an extremely violent mental energy that surged towards Long Outyen's forehead. The purple lightning was formed by the pure power of the primordial spirit. It was as if it was real. It instantly surged into Long Outyen's sea of consciousness between his eyebrows. This was the supreme divine skill of the ninefold imperial obelisk, the Purple Firmament Soul Destruction Technique. it could directly affect the enemy's primordial spirit and destroy the divine spirit. It was always successful. Jun Tiancheng knew that the sky-devouring sword in Long Outyan's hand was powerful. However, he also knew that Long Outyan's weakness was his cultivation. Therefore, he chose to use the purple firmament soul destruction technique to kill Long Outyan in one blow. Boom! Long Outyan's body shook. He immediately felt that his primordial spirit was about to solidify. The purple lightning raged in his sea of consciousness as if it wanted to completely destroy his primordial spirit. Roar! A dragon's roar immediately rang out from Long Outyan's soul at this critical moment. It was ancient and vast, and it seemed like a 9-colored dragon had risen into the air. It opened its mouth and directly devoured the mental energy that had invaded Long Outyan's soul. What? Puff! Jun Tiancheng's body trembled, and his eyes were filled with disbelief and horror. The 9-colored dragon in Long Outyan's sea of consciousness made his mind tremble. He felt like an ant looking up at a dragon. He couldn't help but tremble. His soul became quite damaged after the purple firmament soul-destroying technique was destroyed in such a domineering manner. He immediately grunted and vomited a mouthful of blood. His presence became rather sluggish. Kill! Long Outyan's eyes were filled with cold killing intent. He had almost fallen into Jun Tiancheng's trap. If he was killed by Jun Tiancheng's purple sky soul extinguishing technique, he would truly die with everlasting regret. Crack! The sky-devouring sword slashed down from the sky. The sword light illuminated the void, and it seemed to split the world in half. This was Long Outyan's furious attack, and its power was multiplied. Jun Tiancheng hurriedly raised his purple saber to block the attack. At the same time, he already had the intention to retreat. He moved backward. Boom! The sword light bloomed, and the sky-devouring sword stood on the purple saber. With a crisp sound, the purple saber was cut in half by the sky-devouring sword. How is this possible? Jun Tiancheng's face was filled with disbelief. While he was in a daze, the sky-devouring sword had already cut through his chest, leaving a long trail of blood. It had almost cut his stomach open. Jun Tiancheng retreated in an extremely sorry state, but his face was filled with shock. The purple saber was a flawless holy treasure, and it was extremely sturdy. However, it was directly cut in half by the sky-devouring sword. This was simply unacceptable to Jun Tiancheng. His fear of Long Outyan reached its peak in an instant. What kind of sword is this? Jun Tiancheng's voice unconsciously carried a trace of fear. A sword that will take your life. Long Outyan's eyes were filled with killing intent. He did not give Jun Tiancheng any chance to catch his breath. He continued to attack with the sky-devouring sword. Boom! A vast and unparalleled devouring power erupted from the sky-devouring sword. It seemed as if it had formed a devouring domain, and sealed Jun Tiancheng within it. Jun Tiancheng staggered as if he had fallen into mud. Blood gushed out from his wounds, and was devoured by the sky-devouring sword. The sky-devouring sword instantly turned from black to blood red. It was incomparably evil. The sky-devouring cauldron behind Long Outyan became even more dazzling. It complemented the sky-devouring sword in his hand, causing the surrounding sky to tremble violently. Divine chains of order bloomed from the sky-devouring sword, sealing Jun Tiancheng within like a cage. They began to wantonly devour Jun Tiancheng's blood essence. Damn it! This is a demonic sword. You're from the demon clan. Jun Tiancheng was scared out of his wits. He could not help but reveal a trace of fear in his eyes as he stared at Ling Xiao. The sky-devouring sword was able to devour the blood essence of others. Moreover, it did not look like a holy weapon at all. Instead, it looked more like a demonic weapon of the demon clan. It emitted an aura that made one's heart tremble. Jun Tiancheng. Since you dared to chase after the people of the Changsun sect, you should have thought of today's outcome. From today onwards, the so-called Holy Dynasty shall be destroyed. All of you shall be buried together with it. Long Outyen's voice was extremely cold as he continuously used the sky-devouring sword to devour Jun Tiancheng's blood essence and cultivation. Father! Crown Prince Jun Mo roared. His eyes were filled with anxiety. He did not expect Jun Tiancheng to be defeated so quickly. In the blink of an eye, Jun Tiancheng was completely at a disadvantage. Now, he seemed to have no strength to resist and was about to die in Long Outyen's hands. Fear, anger, and unwillingness surged in his heart. However, there was also a sense of helplessness in his heart. He could not interfere in the battle in front of him. And all of this was caused by Ling Xiao. Crown Prince Jun Mo suddenly turned his head and looked at the calm Ling Xiao from afar. His eyes were filled with hatred. I know. This is the sky-devouring sword. Suddenly, someone exclaimed. His voice was trembling violently. It was an old man with white hair and a white beard. He had already reached the cultivation level of a titled supreme. He was hale and hearty, but at this moment, his face was filled with shock. Previously, he had felt that the sword was somewhat familiar. Now that he thought of the sky-devouring cauldron behind Long Outyen and the powerful devouring power, he almost instantly thought of the legendary person and the sword that person carried. The sky-devouring supreme, the sky-devouring sword. You're tuning into the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.